On this episode, we have Josh Maghirang, Revgasm on the internet. He's been on Risky Devil. He's on Proceed currently. And if you know street drifting in the U.S., especially Chicago, you definitely know who he is. Car's iconic, right? Like, you know, probably one of the top 5 most recognizable drift cars in the country, definitely as far as street drifting goes. And we talk about life and what drifting is to us and what our perspectives are, and you know, kind of like the niceties and the benefits of it and some of the struggles. And I like doing these, man. I'm gonna keep doing them, so I hope you enjoy this one. Appreciate you guys. One of the hardest things to do in this world is promote yourself or promote products, and some people are better at it than others, that's for sure. I come to you today promoting me selling some stickers. They're of me driving. If you want to support, cool, I appreciate it. If not, I appreciate you listening or watching. You know, they're available on goodestco.com. We're going to have more merch stuff kind of to be able to keep doing this and try and help out with the time it takes. And yeah, we appreciate everyone who's been giving good feedback. I just got back from Final Bout and had a lot of people tell me how much they like the podcast, so it's super motivating to do more of them. And just wanted to say thank you. So thank you, I appreciate it. Oh man, those lights look crazy behind me. I just put those, I installed them in the apartment.
Oh yeah, right.
Now it looks like an alien spaceship fucking landing on my head.
Sick. Looks good, dude.
I like your background.
Dude, I don't have any like good space inside our current crib right now, so it's just like, fuck, I'll just go in the garage, man.
Yeah.
Like, you'd fall asleep if you saw like my background inside where my townhouse right now. It's like, dude, just like fucking waiting to get out of here the end of this year, man.
Are you moving somewhere?
Yeah, man. I'm in the middle of a new construction. I'm building a house.
Oh yeah, I saw
yeah.
that. Big moves, man. That's exciting.
Yeah, man, super exciting. We're just trying to be patient. I don't know, like I don't want to jinx it. We're not really feeling the effects of the delays at the moment, but you know, we'll see how it goes. So the last 3 months has pretty much been, you know, on schedule.
Sick.
So, you know, we'll be lucky to have it by November. Anything sooner is a blessing. Anything at whatever, it is what it is.
Man,
I know, bro.
good for you. That's like big moves.
Yeah, man. I guess it is big moves. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, my lady and I have been like really used to just kind of being on the go all the time and just like do whatever the fuck we want, go wherever the fuck we want, whenever we want. And then you know, it is what it is. Like, we've been married for like over 5 years now. So, and then not gonna lie, like, you know, COVID shit kind of put things into a little bit more of a perspective in terms of like long term and family and stuff. So I was like, yeah, who knows like how long these travel bans are really gonna go for, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, might as well just have a place that we want to live at and be at like all the time, and vacation when allowed.
It's nice to have the space.
Yeah, that's the big thing, man. Just been patient. I want to do more stuff, hobbies and things. So like spaces, yeah, can't wait for that shit.
Yeah, because you don't just do like car stuff. You guys like go snowboarding and mountain biking. And
Yeah, me and my lady are fairly active. I'd like to say we're pretty active, so more active than like a lot of, you know, my like family and stuff like that. So it's cool, man. I got a good partner, so
yeah, she's nice.
Yeah, man, she's cool. She's super down.
Anybody can put up with hanging out with all of us drift idiots.
Oh, dude,
it's usually a pretty good sign.
Yeah. She's cool as hell, but then like she kind of knows her place too at the same time. It's like she doesn't like trying to like include her into like, you know, random car conversations. She's not like a car person at all, but she just like supports the shit that I do. So I'm like, it's good enough for me.
Yeah, I think I learned in a previous one that it can go like it's good. It can be good to have like the like join thing, but then it can also like go south. Like if their reasoning for being interested in those things isn't necessarily like for the same passion that you have, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I I don't know. I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't know how to like differentiate the two. I guess for me, like my personality wise, I'm kind of um, like I like my shit, and then like
Yeah,
I want you to like your shit. I guess if I dated a girl that was into cars, and like I guess I'd be like fine with it, but like I
yeah.
never have, and I kind of like prefer, I guess,
Be like
prefer that to be mine,
you,
and that you do your own shit that you like.
yeah. I think it either has to be, you either have to have somebody who's like super down and like
Hmm.
just like that's your thing. I support you. You
Yeah.
take the time you need to do that, or someone who's into it, but somebody who's like
Hmm.
on I would say on the level that we do things, but like,
Yes,
what does that really mean? Like, you
it's pretty obsessive though, man. The level that
yeah,
we enjoy our hobbies is kind of, I don't know. My perspective, I think it's like more obsessive than other people I know that enjoy hobbies.
fair.
So, luckily though, with our hobbies and like the way that, we work and we work hard, like we've kind of made it more fun because like we have like the traveling aspect of things. So like, and
For
that's my
sure.
girl, like she loves traveling. So she's like, "Oh, where are you going this time?" Well, fuck yeah, let's just go because we're gonna see everything else on top of
Yeah.
the car stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah. My girl's very like particular about which drift trip she comes on.
oh yeah, dude, of
Like she'll be
course,
like,
man. I agree. Yeah,
like,
my
oh,
last,
you're just
yeah,
going to Thunder Hill again during summer? Like,
right.
nope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, even my the last time I was in Japan, she didn't come along because like she knew that it was just like
All cars.
it was like full blown just cars, and I was telling her, I was like, I don't know, like our stays might not be as extravagant as our other trip. So I was like, if you're willing to be in the more uncomfortable position of a trip, like of course come, but like if you want to do more than that, then I was like, I don't know how much time I'm going to be able to give to you on this particular trip.
Was
So,
she was she always like supportive? Like how long have you guys been together?
oh, dude, I mean, we've known each other since high school. So, and just for anybody that doesn't know me, I turned 38 this year. So, like,
Yeah,
yeah, we've been, in and out of relationships, friendships, etc. There was even times where like we weren't even talking, but like that's all in the past. Like, so she's known me as like this car person ever since like I guess you could say ever since I was a teenager, so it's like it's nothing new, right?
yeah.
So, and I don't know, I've never met somebody, let alone a woman, like patient enough or to even have like the mental capacity, you know to like be like, oh, okay, so that's what you just want to do with your whole life. Okay.
I think it took a few years of like it took a few years of like showing, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it took a while for me to like get her to see the level in which I am dedicated to this thing,
Hmm.
and like it's kind of hard because one of the first time she rode in a drift car, or
Yeah.
like was me driving terrible. Like I like pretty much broke my car. It's a long story, but I went to Thunderhill and I like brought her. We like kind of first started dating, and I had
Hmm.
like this really bad experience. Like
Oh, geez.
someone popped a Sapporo can with like a little tiny hole in it in my exhaust at the
Get
hotel, and
okay.
like I just did a new turbo setup, so like I was really like nervous about it because I wasn't really
Uh-huh.
like good at working on cars at the time.
Sure.
And I go to the track and I start my car up. I'm like, it's quiet. Like, is there an exhaust leak? Like, what? Because
What is
I
going
wasn't that
on?
good. Dude, I spent like an hour trying to figure this thing out. I'm like tightening manifold bolts and like
Oh my
tear.
God.
And I brought her. She's never been to the track before,
She's like,
never
did it
seen
usually
drifting.
take this long to prep your car?
And
Like,
I'm like
eh.
stressed, pissed, like,
Oh
because
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, sure.
I look over and there's some dudes like cracking up because I was like, wait a minute. So I go look around at the exhaust and I saw the Sapporo can and I pulled it out and it's all loud again.
Yeah. Jeez.
And I'm like, you guys let me go through that for an hour? Like, dude, I'm not gonna say who it is, but like, dude, Funk on Site still to this day. Like, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I could imagine it does take that much time to show somebody like maybe the whole, spectrum of the hobby. Because like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you could show your love interest to like a girl in like an evening, it's kind of like, oh well, what are you
True.
into then, man?
True. I mean,
Right.
yeah, like, and then I think relatively close after that, I brought her to Final Bout 2.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember. I remember seeing you guys then.
And I put her in like Julian's car,
Mm,
and it's like, so the bar was really high. Like, it was like she
sure,
was
sure.
just seeing all these like super dedicated like people. So it was like
People,
kind
yeah.
of hard to like set this. Yeah, I don't know, but I think we're there. We have been
That's
for
awesome,
like,
man.
we hit like a point and then now she just kind of gets it and it's
Yeah,
nice.
dude. Yeah, that's rad, man. Like, yeah, no, like I know, more than a few of us have some pretty, super down, ride or die significant others, whether it's like marriage or just dating. Like some of us are pretty lucky. Probably a lot of us, but like, you know, the ones that we talk to most often, it's just like, damn, man, like your girl's down with that.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
Yeah. I was just in Hawaii for 6 years and Benson and Nadine were there and we like
Oh yeah.
we went to eat with them and it was it was cool because Shelmy kind of like was like, oh, like this girl's like really into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah, she is. Yeah, for sure.
talk about like having that dynamic. I don't know. It was kind of nice to like have her see like, yo, you don't have to be, I don't know. It was like a different perspective of like,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna hate me for this, but like the older generation, the older couple, like still kind of like, doing their
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's great to see that they're like fucking around with this stuff in like any sort of capacity, whether it's their own driving, judging, even
Yeah.
their pod that they're doing. But like they've been like a pretty crucial thing even for me, like even off the get-go. Like I remember like searching for them when I went to like the D1 exhibition in like '02 or '03. Like I
Did you
was
go out to,
already.
you went out to LA for that?
Yeah, I went
No
to the first.
way.
Yeah, for sure. So me, our friend Rob Ryder, he's he had the black Miata,
Hmm.
Turbo Miata from here, Roadster Drift, I guess you know him. Our other buddy Tim, he had like a Juby Ride 86, and our other pal Phil, Philly Pop, he bought Rob Ryder's 20, or I'm sorry, Beams car. So, anyways, there was like a few of us like way back in the day. We went to California for that trip, and yeah, they were definitely some people that like I really pushed to go meet in person at the event because they were there. Both their cars were there. I remember that shit. So they're good
Yeah.
people, man. They've
They
they've
don't
been super good people.
Yeah, they definitely didn't disappoint, I'm sure. Like,
No, no, man. It's just like I mean, you know, I mean, as genuine as it gets and like as pure as it gets when it comes to not just cars, but just being like loving people and having like a legit relationship, something that you
yeah,
can like model off of, like, man, like
true.
they're like doing it, you know.
Yeah,
So I respect them for sure, big
yeah,
time.
man. So obviously you've been in the drift world for quite a long time, but you've been in the car, like you were in like the Honda game for a while before.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
what was that timeline like? Like who got
Um,
you in initially? And I know it's like five
uh,
questions, but
yeah, no, my dad, yeah, he likes cars. I don't know if I'd call him in like yeah, he's an enthusiast. Yeah, he likes cars, but um, he's not like some, dude that was like hitting track days in his cars. He just is the type that like likes to drive his own cars and then like likes to look at them in the garage. So I grew up,
I can
right.
associate.
Yeah, right. So like I grew up at a very, yeah, ever since I was a child. So I know I went home from the hospital from the hospital home when I was born, in the city. in a black turbo Trans Am. So
Sick.
right. So just like Smokey the Bandit, but like the following year where they offered the turbo engine in it.
Sick.
So yeah, so black with the gold, the gold hawk on the hood,
That's the
gold
car you came home
honeycomb
from the
grill.
hospital in?
Yeah, man.
Get
That's
out
it.
of here.
hmm Yeah, yeah. I was like Instagramming like a last week or 2 weeks ago, and I was doing like a test and tune. Identical car at the drag strip, and it's like the hood's got like three little indicator lights for boost levels on the car from factory and shit.
Yeah.
So, but he had that. He had a he had a Dodge Challenger too,
Damn.
like side pipes and all that shit. Then
Yeah.
yeah, turbo Fiat Spider, and then came some of the Japanese cars in the mid '90s. So he had like an Integra, a DC2, like an Integra Special
Sick.
Edition or some shit. But like he started, so me and my dad always had like conversations, or like we had similar interest in cars, like particularly like Corvettes. So like at that time,
Interesting.
like yeah, the C4 was like around the time when it was like my dad was starting to like think about getting another car finally. So I remember he was like looking into like the limited edition, the Grand Sport, the blue C4 with the white stripes and shit.
What?
So yeah, so like it was a really exciting time for me as a kid. Like, oh man, my dad's finally gonna have a Corvette. I'm gonna be cool. But he never ended up getting it. And then he ended up in like a '94 Accord EX. And then he started like collecting like Sport Compact Car magazine from like fucking like day one issue.
Whoa.
So like that was some of the introduction into like the Japanese cars or whatever. And then man, we're going way back, bro.
I love it.
1996, there was like the first, as far as we know, was the first import related car show held in the Chicagoland area um at a Japanese market store called Yaohan, which is known as Mitsuwa now.
Hmm.
But so yeah, so in the mid '90s, I was already like getting my eyes on like import tuning culture, and like then it was like all Honda shit. Uh, my uncle's very good pal, his name was Richie. He had a blue Conquest. I
Sick.
remember like going up to the show with them, and I was like, dude, man, this Conquest is the coolest shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah. Yeah.
coolest shit. So like yeah, so in the '90s, like that's really when like I was like, oh man, this is really cool. And you start seeing like all the Hondas rolling around. Like I remember like riding my bicycle to like um there used to be like a local Circuit City. You know what Circuit City is?
Yeah. I used to work there.
So oh shit, that's awesome. So for the young bloods that don't know what a Circuit City is, it's like it was like the competitor of Best Buy. Is that fair to
Yeah.
say
That was a
back
bunch of
then?
them.
Right.
I was
So
like
like
back when there was like hella electronic stores, and that's like
hmm
you like that was sick. Like you go there on the weekends, you'd be like, whoa,
I
check
know,
out.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
So like there was this one um car crew called Team Ronin, and like a lot of the dudes in Team Ronin happen to work at Circuit City or like the Chase Bank, like right across the corner. I'd like ride my fucking bike over there to the parking lot and just like always check out their cars and all this shit. And around that time too, we had another local tuning shop called Sound Performance. Um, and even till this day, they're like known for like the biggest and baddest fucking Supras like around. So they were doing like 300ZX twin turbos and Supras back then,
Sick.
like creeping in the fucking garage, like trying to look at their cars as a kid. Like,
Like, hey man,
yeah, man,
let me
anything,
in.
bro, anything
Yeah.
like car related. If I could get there on like my bicycle, like I would. Even like the early day import car shows, like Hot Import Nights, Import Revolution, when it was in like downtown, like I'd fucking take the train from the burbs to the city, walk it
Sick.
out like a couple miles to go see cars and shit. Yeah, man. Fucking
How'd you
cars.
how'd you find out about the events back then? Because that's like not internet,
Um,
not Instagram era.
yeah, you're right. So, like I said, lucky enough, my dad was already subscribing to like Sport Compact Car magazine and stuff. But like at the time too, like the car show scene was it was kind of intermingled with like other culture, like so like there used to be like a lot of like local what would you call it, like there was like Asian groups that would do like that would be like bands and shit. They'd be like performers, singers,
Mm.
stuff like that. Or like for me, like, break dancing and stuff, like, yeah, we would go to the car show, but like we'd always go to like go see cars, go meet chicks, and go fucking, b-boy and battle and stuff, or dance or whatever.
Did you
So
break
like,
too?
yeah, I used to b-boy
Oh
too.
man. Okay.
So I wouldn't say I was any good, but I used to. Um, so yeah, like I said, like it just it was always the talk amongst like the groups of people that I would be in. And like I said, even the guys like I used to hang out that were like hardcore like hip hop b-boy heads, like they weren't even going for the cars while like I was going for the cars. But of
Mm.
course, we do other shit when we go there too. So
Damn, that's cool.
yeah, man.
So you got brought early and had that
Yeah,
like
dude.
yeah.
Literally just like it's literally just luck that like I was of age of the time that that shit just started like coming into the US, and like
Yeah, because it was
particularly like us here in Chicagoland area, like we're not out by you guys where like things can get stronger sooner and quicker.
yeah.
But like I like literally just happened to be around as it like started really coming up, like from the beginning.
Yeah, you were like, yeah, you were ground floor. Cause like out here, it was hit or miss.
Mm,
Um, Especially like in like the areas that I lived in, the neighborhoods I lived in, it was like it was really hard to find like cool import cars, and you'd see one like randomly, rarely.
yeah.
And then like slowly over time you're just find stuff and find places that are like out of the
Hmm.
way or whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah,
same thing. Like like I said, you'd either randomly have just one of those popular, one of those strip malls where a bunch of the fucking homies that just happened to be in a car team, like they all just worked in that area, like there was like I said, there was a team Ronin, which was like majority like Indian guys, and they had all super, super, super fantastic show car stuff. There was like another group called like Team Funtabi. um, they were, from what I remember, they had fast cars, a lot of street racing and shit like that. Team City Limits was a big team out here that was into street racing and car shows. Like, yeah, those were the groups that like, I looked up to when I was super young. Like the whole team aspect thing for me in getting into cars was like, I don't know, like it always seemed as significant to me as to just having the cars. Like you either have a car, but you have to be like in a fucking team too.
yeah. I,
Yeah.
I, I remember going to, what was it called? It was before it was called Week Fest. But it was like Fat Lace put it on. I think it was, I can't remember, but I went,
Okay.
and all the Wolfrain dudes, so like Darius, Aaron,
Yeah.
Xander, they all had their S13s parked on the street,
Yeah, dude, that's so
like
sick.
all in a row. And I was like, I don't even need to go in the show, dude. Like, this is it. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know until like years later that like I was hanging out with them and I was like, that was you guys? Like, it was
Yeah,
crazy,
dude.
you know?
That's so funny, dude. Back in what was it? Two 2009 when we went out for All-Star Bash,
Mhm.
when we shipped our cars to Mark's house, Fat Lace Mark. He was kind enough to say like, "Yo, man, just ship your shit to my house. It'll be safe here until you guys get here." And then I remember like uh one of our homies, Darren, was like taking us around like SF and all these shits. I don't know what the fuck shop it was that he took us to, but I saw um was Xander the one that had the white Type X?
Yeah.
It was Xander, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing it white Type X 180 style on fucking like, I want to say they were WMB CR Kynes, or they were just polished CR Kynes. And I remember seeing that shit parked in the back of this one random shop, and I was just like, yo, that shit's fucking the best.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's one thing about California though, man. Like, so like I I have some family in like NorCal, I have some family in SoCal. So like um while I'd visit out there as a teenager, like same shit. Like I would like go out to try and find like random car shops. Like back then, like you couldn't just Google like car shops in
Yeah.
Vallejo, car shops
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
whatever. But I remember like running, so like that was one shop I ran into, but that was '09. But even before that, there was A- Asian Motorsports or some shit. Does that sound familiar?
Um.
Dude, ask your homies from out there.
Yeah.
All I remember is they had the fucking cleanest Panda 86, like known to man, dude. Like, just ask about it. I swear there was a shop out there called Asian Motorsports or some shit.
Yeah.
Um, but what I was getting at is like, dude, like the one thing about California is like you guys have like a treasure chest full of shit that probably even now in like 2021 that's still never been seen.
Hmm.
That's the one thing I notice about California. My uncle that lives up in Vallejo, he's the he's the one that helped me get my first S chassis. So I bought a black 93 hatch with an SR out in NorCal. This was in like '03 or some shit when I bought it.
Whoa.
And yeah, and I remember when I visited him one time, his fucking neighbor, some Filipino dude, had a yellow KP61 with like authentic TRD wide body
Oh.
and I was just like, this shit really exists like in the United States, man. Like, yeah, man, California, man, notorious for just stuff, dude.
Yeah.
So
I
cool.
mean, yeah. We're like, we have ports. So we got like LA has a port. Oakland's
Mm-hmm.
got a port.
Yeah.
So stuff gets in, and then
Yeah.
like it's like the type of thing where it probably shouldn't be here, so it doesn't really see the light of day much. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot of
man.
cars like that. Even in San Francisco, I'll be driving and some dude will just crack his garage door open. It's like a single car garage, like tiny
And
thing
just
and like an apartment complex.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the other day I saw like the sickest like white on white Mark III Supra, like twin
Oh,
turbo, like yeah, I mean 7M GTE, just like
but still, it's just the
all
sake
done
that
up.
like it
Yeah.
still exists. Like,
And
God.
and it's like, what is that doing in there? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm. Totally.
yeah, yeah, California's pretty good at like hiding away their cars. I feel like you
Uh,
guys are forced to do it for
right.
winter, so
So
you're
like,
like, man, let's
yeah,
get
like
these
we
things out.
right, we deal with the elements, but like sure, I'm sure like, Chicago, if not any major city, even in the fucking Bufu, right? Like, yeah, you're gonna find those like you'll probably see like a rare, you know, US or European car, random as fuck. But like the the Japanese cars, like rarely in the Chicagoland area was like never seen, never heard of type of thing.
Mhm.
Maybe there are. I'm hoping that there's those kind of surprises in like, 5, 10, 20 years. Like, holy shit, you have one of those. But yeah, man, the elements here just like if you're not in the position to keep a car safe, the shit will just fall apart out here, man. Like you have to
Yeah.
have it stored away somewhere.
Do you think? Okay, so like going back a bit, you got your S13. Like, it seemed like you were going to car shows. How did you go from like kind of the car show world? I mean, you were saying that like a lot of the car show cars would go racing, street
Hmm.
racing also.
Hmm.
Like, did you ever get into the like street racing, like drag stuff? Did you or
Yeah,
did
pretty heavily into street racing, for sure. Uh, so yeah, definitely street racing was a big part of my like car life. So definitely we would the thing out here is like the some of the common street race spots for like the fucking muscle cars, like obviously,
yeah.
the Japanese cars caught on um in the mid late 90s and especially like early 2000s. So like you'd see a lot of cars linking up, even in the suburbs, but like a lot of times like close to Chinatown and shit like that. And then there was like, three or four like pretty prime spots to go street race at. Um, and there was to a point actually in the early 2000s when like I thought like I thought car culture was gonna die because like what I'm feeling now, and I know we're getting sidetracked. What I'm feeling now with like the sideshow stuff that's happening,
Speak
Chicago,
your truth, man.
right? Like Chicago experienced not sideshow, but they experienced like a heavy hitting amount of street racing and accidents and things of that nature. Where
Yeah.
like Chicago PD really cracked down and like damn near killed off import cars or like cartoon tune shit on the streets. Like there was a few years where it was like very rare to see cars cruising around. Like I thought the shit was dead because you'd get rolled in a heartbeat, you'd get tickets impounded and all that shit just for cruising. So, but anyways, yeah. So like street racing was super big. I had I had an Accord, not fast. I had an Integra Type R, which was faster.
Sick.
But the Type R is the one that exposed me to my first track day, and my first um, drag strip type of drag racing type of stuff. So actually, drag racing came first in my Type R. I tried that first before I had ever did like an actual grip track day.
Sick. How'd
Hmm.
you and how'd you like I don't know. I feel like some people they like find a thing and then they just stick with it. You're like, maybe the drag racing isn't for me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try grip stuff. Like
Hmm.
and then you like most of us just saw drifting, you're like, nope, that's it. I want to
Yeah.
do that.
Well, like, so like being exposed to like Yauhan market at a young age, in my teenage years, and we also had Tower Records. I'm sure you guys know what Tower Records are.
Mhm.
So like my uncle, big influence, big impact on my life. He's the one that introduced me to like hip hop culture. He's the one that introduced me to like, Chicago footwork, dancing, all this shit, right? So he didn't get me into cars, but he did take me to Tower Records. And while he was, snooping through magazines and records and CDs, like I was always looking for a fucking road and track, car and driver, whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
But that's when I like stumbled across my first option magazines.
Mm,
Yeah, so man, I really don't know why our local Tower Records had that shit because like in the 90s, late in the mid to late 90s, like there were no fucking Asian people that not like how it is right now. Like I'm just saying like I
yeah.
like that okay, just to put into perspective, like I'd be the only fucking brown kid in a classroom of 32.
Yeah.
So like it made me wonder like why the fuck is there a Japanese magazine here
Yeah.
like specific to cars, right? So anyways, like that's how I got exposed to like not the United States representation of import tuning. Like I got introduced to like the fucking Japan shit
Yeah.
super early too. Like there was only like a gap of like 1 or 2 years where I was like, oh shit, man, Hondas are kind of cool to like, holy fuck, what are they doing in Japan?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was like on the Japan shit like early. So I don't know where we're going with this. I'm just talking shit. But yeah, that's how I got um like you know the diversity of like the car stuff. I was like, man,
Yeah.
dude, like
I feel like
these cars look
there's something like so exciting about finding some like
yeah, dude.
you're like, oh, this is from another country. Because when you're a kid,
Right.
like the world's really the world's big, like the
Hmm.
world's like this massive place, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, they do this stuff that I
yeah.
like in another
I
in
mean,
the like, and then you like see it and it's all like, they've
hmm
been doing it for like 10 years. So everybody's like elevating each other. And so
yeah,
you like
dude.
look at the builds in there and you're just like,
It's just crazy because like, like I always like I never take like the information for granted. And sometimes I like I'm definitely selfish. I'm definitely guilty of being selfish for sharing certain information because like I just like fucking dude, I fucking cherish it, right? Like I like
yeah,
cherish the information that I found at that time of my life. Like it's like molded everything that I have interest into today, right? So like when I saw that shit from like randomly stumbling across Option Magazine to, you know, there was this information boom for me with like hip hop underground music and best motoring because of fucking Napster, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I would get like I remember like so my parents bought a Gateway 2000, which is a fucking computer, a desktop computer. And
Yeah.
like I begged my parents for the internet. And like they didn't actually get it. So I snuck and got one of those free AOL 1,000 hour shits for free
Get
through
the fuck
dial
out
up.
of here.
Yeah,
Hell
dude.
yeah, that's sick.
And like I got in hella
These kids
trouble.
don't know
Like,
about dial-up, man.
yeah, dude, they don't know about dial up. But like so okay, so you guys got internet on your phone. I had to sneak and like find free hours of internet because they would send the shit to you in the
In the
mail.
mail, yeah.
So if you pop in the CD, you could get 1,000 hours of like free AOL, and then
I would tie up
choose
the
each
phone line.
right.
So you had to be
Tie up
like,
the
you had to
phone line,
pick sneaky
right,
times.
right, and then you'd have to either tune in on it and be like, oh yeah, I want to actually start a membership, or be a dumbass like me and not record your usage and start racking up fucking bills, right? Um,
Fuck, dude.
yeah, fuck
That's
yeah,
so
dude.
real.
I know, man. It's so real. So, like, so the one thing about Option Mag was like, um, it's like it's pictures, right? Because I couldn't read Japanese. It's just pictures. But then you randomly start seeing like best motoring, and it's like fucking live footage, right?
Yeah.
But then it would take anywhere from 3 to 12 hours to download a 15-second to like, if you're lucky, like 2 minute clips, 3 minute clips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, like I would stay up, I would fucking click the shit, download best motoring, like particularly, okay, best motoring video, fucking, I just shared it on my Instagram like a couple days ago. DC2 96 spec Integra Type R versus S14 Sylvia. And like it was just a quick drag racing clip of an Integra Type R, um, like losing the 60 foot to the Sylvia, and then like by the time he grabs third, like the Type R is starting to pull away, and like
Yeah.
that
And
is like forever.
it's all like
It's like forever burned in my mind, that video clip, and like and I think about how many times I tried to download it, because like you'll push download, fall asleep, and you'll wake up like 3 hours later to see your fucking screen say like it failed, and all
yeah,
you want to
you
do is
gotta start
fucking
over.
kill somebody. And you got to start
Yeah,
all
yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in like 240p, like
Hmm.
super pixelated and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I got like again everything that I as like a spectator to the interests that we both have is like it's all just like timing and luck. Like I had a
Yeah.
right around junior year of high school, I had a very good friend. Her name was Aya. She was Japanese. She went back home to visit for a summer, and then she came back. So this was like 90, I don't know, 98, 99 or something, somewhere around there. I don't know.
Mhm.
And that was my next exposure to more Japanese fucking tuning. So she brought home to me was Rev Speed,
Mhm.
Rev Speed magazine, VIP style or VIP car style, and then an other VIP mag, and then some other random older, like older car Japanese tuning. So like and this is all before 2000 when I saw this shit. I'm just like fucking going crazy, right?
Yeah, because the VIP stuff was just so wild.
It was
It was like
so wild.
unfathomable,
Yeah,
like
dude. Like
that you could
and
do that to a car. Yeah.
right. So, and like a Chaser or a Cresta, or no, not even. Those are more drift cars. A Gloria or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck these
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
Like, these are like totally foreign to me, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. You'd be like, is that a Lexus?
Yeah, is that what
Oh,
is
it's
that?
a Toyota. What?
Yeah, I know, right? Right, and at that
Celsius? What
right,
the fuck is that?
totally right. And at that
Yeah.
time, you're like, wait, I thought Lexus was like the coolest shit. No,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's just Lexus is cool here in the U.S. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, man. That was like all before 2000, before the first Dory 10 even fucking got released, or more dedicated D1 Ikaten shit was like really happening. Like I got exposed to like a lot of Japanese car culture even prior to the drifting part.
Do you think like getting to see that VIP style kind of like did that influence your drift car builds at all, or did it just
I,
kind of give you perspective? Or
I wouldn't say so. I thought it was really cool, but like I could never foresee myself building like a VIP car. I was
Yeah.
always like a performance head,
Yeah.
gearhead. So like, but when I look back to like maybe some of the iterations of like the S13 that I've had, then I guess I could see some of it there.
Yeah.
Some of it was kind of, but drift style. That's the one thing about drifting is it's like there's just so many ways to fucking do it, right?
Yeah.
There's so many
Yeah.
ways. Like kind of going back to what you're saying, like, oh, usually you find something you kind of just stick to it. Well, that's kind of been where I've been at since like, oh, when I got my second S chassis, I would say is when it really, really fucked me. Like in '07, when I got that right-hand drive car,
Yeah.
that's when like my mind was made up that I was like,
What was the
fuck
origin of that thing?
everything.
Because I like
Um,
that car is like burned into my mind from like
yeah. So
when I
it
got
was a
mine.
gold hatch that was located in SoCal. So background story was my initial plan was to buy a red SR hatch, which was like allegedly like a super made demo car for the US. I'm
Sick.
not sure if there was any truth to it or if he just had super made aero and he was just saying that. So I was gonna go buy that car. Um, and then right before I was about to buy it, this dude posts up an RHD uh, hatch with an SR and like a body kit, and it was gold. And like I didn't really care for the car except the fact that it was right hand drive. And like
Yeah.
my whole shit was like, if I'm gonna, mind you, I sold a pretty nicely tuned S2000 to fund like my vision of an S13 hatchback, right?
Mm.
So then like I was like, fuck it. Like this car is available. It's right hand drive. Like if I'm gonna build the 180 car that I could, like fuck it. Let's just go for it. And then with the expectation of like you're gonna go to Japan so sooner or later. So if you're
Yeah.
gonna go, you might as well be driving a right-hand drive car here and train yourself to get used to it. So by the time you go to Japan, you'll be all right. I didn't think it was gonna take that fucking long to go to Japan, but
Yeah.
whatever. The fucking method worked because like, when I dropped over there and like went to Nico, it was just like, oh yeah, this is normal.
Yeah. It was not like that for me.
But the origin of the car was SoCal. Allegedly, the guy that owned the car was known for building like a lot of right-hand drive cars out there.
Oh, so it was
Somebody,
converted.
yeah, so it was converted. So somebody had told me like, oh, this guy has even built right-hand drive cars that you've seen compete in like Formula D or something. So I was like,
Mm.
all right, so like, the car must be pretty well put together. Little Phil, that lives in SoCal now, he lived in SoCal at that time. So if it wasn't for him, I would have never got that car because he's the one that
You set
assessed
it
the
up.
car for me. He
Yeah.
stored it for me.
Nice.
And I know those fuckers took it out to a couple parties. They took it to Toge and shit.
No, come on.
Yeah, yeah. One of their homies, Andrew. What's Andrew's last name? Bond B, Andrew B or something. Anyway,
Mm.
he's like, from what I know of him, because we talk a lot, but in the past and sometimes now, he's like, he's like a real canyon dude. And I
Mm.
think I think they took my car out to the canyon maybe a couple times. Who knows? But anyways, Phil stored it for me. I had it shipped back out here to Illinois when I finally had enough money to ship it back. And then that's when I went for broke, man. I spent like damn near every fucking dollar I made off that S2000 and just dumped it into this 93 hatchback, dude. Like stupid, like brand new SBC professors, like I kind of did like a mashup arrow at the time. I like had so many visions in my head, but then I was like, let me try and mash up some arrows since not a lot of people do it. So like I did like a Type X style front with sexy style version 2 sides, and then like I think it was Origin stylish rear bumper. It was like not common to see people mashing up stuff, but like
Yeah.
that's what I did like with my first iteration of that,
I actually enjoy it.
the
I
root
really
beer
like doing
bound
them.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was the one, and I was all bummed because like I remember I took it out for the first time and there was a bunch of us and like people were taking pictures of it. I was like, fuck, it's not done. Like
It's
there's
not
no hood
ready.
on there's no
Yeah,
hood on it. There's no Type X wing on it.
yeah, yeah.
There's no passenger seat yet. Like I just was like coming out to cruise and do a mass text with the homies and like no, and the next thing I know, it caught wind somehow, like it was like I think BH Brian Hart is the one that like shared the car on Zilvia, and I guess the rest is history.
Yeah. 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 I remember like my early days on Zilvia. It's like, I mean, you couldn't go a couple days without seeing that car. So
Yeah, it was an interesting time. Again, just timing. Like it just happened to be the time when like the internet, I think, was like turning into a serious place.
yeah.
Like opinions mattered and all that shit, right? So it was weird because like I'm kind of like a quiet guy. At least on the forums, I was for sure a quiet guy on the forums. Like I didn't really share pictures of my car. Like
Yeah.
I've never done a build thread in my life, and then all of a sudden this car just pops out of Chicago. Like what the
I
fuck?
tr- I tried to when I first got my S13 and I just got like roasted because I was like broke and did a bunch of corny stuff. I was on this forum called Slam Burglars. That's how I actually like
Oh
met
yeah, dude.
Max
Yeah,
and
for
all those
sure.
dudes.
Hell yeah.
Dude, they were ruthless, bro. Like I was like
Oh
I was doing
no.
a bunch of wild stuff, and they were like, "Come on, man," you know what I mean? And like I was like, I'm like, this is the first time I ever like built a car. Right, I'm gonna make some mistakes, but you know what? Like, you know, it takes some trial and error.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it definitely does, dude. Like I just like, the first dollar I spent on a car part was like on a Japanese car. So
Yeah.
like, it's always really been Japanese cars for me. Like I've always obsessed about Japanese cars and the styling and like I'm not gonna lie, like I try really, really hard to execute in like a certain manner. And yet it seems like every time I did it, it just like wasn't cool. But then
Mm.
like 5 years later, they're like, "Hey man, that was kind of cool when you did that." I was like, "Was it?" Because not a lot of people liked it when I was like right now. Like everyone's like, "Dude, what the fuck? Do you got red wheels in your car?" I'm like, "Yeah, I
I
did
love
red
it.
wheels." I was like, "I did red wheels on my S2000. Everybody hated it back then. I'm pretty sure
I
everybody
love
hates
it.
this now, but maybe in 10 years it'd be like, hey man."
I've been wanting to do red on red for like a little bit now, and I just like never. I'm like I'll can't spend money on wheels right now, but I love it, dude. Red on
It,
red's the shit.
I don't
I
know.
let
It's super weird, but like I just like can't get over it. I'm like finally, I was finally at the point where I was like, okay, it's time. Let's put the fucking red wheels on the car.
I love it.
Got to
Well,
flip it up a little bit every year.
I mean, it's yeah, especially like when you've been doing this so long, like you
Hmm.
gotta do stuff to keep it fresh. Like
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, you say that, right? Like, oh, you've been doing it for so long, and like, dude, like I get messages constantly from even acquaintances or people I don't know, like, dude, like, oh man, why I don't like the red wheels, or like, oh, why don't you go back to 1819 Chrome? Like, why don't I'm just like, I don't know, man, like I did that already. Like, this is like I have to keep myself interested as well. Like, it's not only for like whoever wants to look at my piece of shit. Like it's for
if
me, dude. Like ultimately it's for me. That's what I want to look at right now.
yeah. Plus,
Like
I
I,
mean, the 1819 Chrome was sick as fuck. Like I love that shit.
oh
But
dude, it was
like
this fuck. It was the
it was
worst.
sick. It was
It
sick,
was the worst car to drive. It
like
was
you
the
can't keep.
worst.
There's no way you can keep up with Simba. You know what I mean? Like
No,
if you
no,
went
there's
back
no
to that,
way.
like it would be a joke.
All right. I mean, certainly there's a little bit of me that like, of course, like, man, if I put 19-inch 19 by 11s, like, could I be kind of still decent at like chase and follow? Maybe not. But I don't get me wrong. I think about it all the time.
You could still be decent, but I think like I don't know.
It's kind of weird. Like, I'm sure you experience a similar situation as to what Proceed is experiencing, where like you can certainly tell which car is not of the same level, and it's my car. And the reason is that is because like I just at this point in my life, all I want is just like reliability. I want to drive it every day I can on the street, cruise it to work, cruise it to go visit my parents. Like that's all I want in the car these days. But like man, dude, like I have to drive really fucking hard to like keep up with my teammates and like, even if I wanted to go back to like that style, like I would be put in an even worse situation where it's like this car just doesn't even belong in this lineup, you know?
Yeah.
So, and like I said, like that's how much the team means to me. Like I still at least have to be able to keep up, you know?
I think it's also part of the like progression of the sport, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
got like back when it was like all you had to do was link the course and you were a savage, you know?
Yeah, right, right,
You
right.
know, like you could have like now it's about like one guy makes his car a little faster and then it's like fuck, all
Ooh,
right, I guess I got
I
to do
know, man.
something. But like, you guys all drive together pretty well. Like it's it doesn't I would say like you said that it's obvious. Like it's not obvious to me. Like I've driven with you, like you you're consistent and like you know what's going on. Like you can get close. You can like
Yeah.
I've seen you in
I
some.
mean, yeah, the car is capable of
Yeah,
doing certain things. It's just that um, my number one fear is throwing off the person chasing
yeah,
because when like it's not like like it's a stock SR for anybody that doesn't know, but like it's a stock S15 SR. So it makes a little more power than like a stock S13, obviously. So it's like it makes like 250 horsepower, whatever. But like the
yeah,
difference on this car is that like if it falls out of line, you know what I mean? If it falls out of line, it's fucking gone, like
yeah,
fully offline. Like you can't save it by kicking the clutch all the time. Like you can't just be like, all right, fuck, I gotta just like ram the clutch and just burn the tires up and just like get it back into position. Like, nah, dude, the car will just straight fucking bind. It'll just grip up and be like, what the fuck are you doing here now?
yeah,
It's so in terms of the consistency part, like I don't know if I'm a consistent driver, but like I have to really force myself to be on point every time I drive it with
yeah.
cars of like your caliber or like anybody from fucking Animal Style and even the Proceed guys. Like if I'm not like on point, like I'll be the one responsible to fuck up the whole line. And like I take a lot of pride into that. Like I don't like fucking up lines. I don't like spinning. It's probably why like I'm not like an exciting driver to watch because like I hate spinning and shit
Like
like that.
I think we
I
all
hate
hate spinning.
I hate spinning, dude. Like I fucking hate it. So that's
Yeah,
definitely like my biggest weakness is not like pushing to the limit and finding it. Sometimes I'll just like stick in the area where like I know I was gonna be is like gonna hold, and
yeah,
then that following that I'm like, God damn it, I should have drove harder.
yeah.
I
I
did something
mean,
cooler.
yeah. I guess it's all really preference. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of like of the same mindset where I really enjoy like dreaming up what the car is going to be and then like
Mhm.
executing that vision and then like doing it.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to like do that with a car that I know when I drive with my friends, like it's just going to get like driven into a bunch, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, yeah, man.
so I'm
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I'm getting to the point where I'm like, all right, maybe I need like some other car, like, that I could make look cool and like really like do, but I'm still going to do it with the drift car, but just,
Sure.
it's been, but I used to be really like particular, like perfectionist almost
Mm-hmm.
about like how
Mm-hmm.
my car looked. I remember this specifically was before the first time Naoki came for Super D when you guys all showed up
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that event. Um, I spent I don't know like 200 hours or something like trying to make my car perfect and super clean and like perfect
Yeah.
ride height and all this stuff. And then I went out and drove with all those dudes at Apple Valley or Grange or whatever you want to call it. And it's like I
Fuck.
just yeah, I couldn't hang, but it wasn't, it was the car, it was me, it was like all kinds of
Yeah.
shit. But my head wasn't in the right place. So
Yeah, like like when you say like the progression of the sport, it's just like I'm like in this like really weird position in that all right now. Like
mhm.
so ever since I lost that right hand drive chassis, I've been like trying to slowly just like get myself into just like driving better as just a driver, not a drifter, because like my background was not drifting. It was like track day stuff, and then I got into drifting, and then like now my whole life is drifting, right? And then when I built the S14, um, like the whole idea was to like grip that car, but of
Mm,
course, final bout, your team is like kind of waiting on you, like, yo, man, when are you gonna be able to, so like I own the S14 and my one and the 180 already.
yeah,
Not a lot of people knew that, but
I
like,
didn't know that
so then
either.
when the 180 totaled, I was like, well, I guess I might as well just dump the proceeds off this car and just like finish this 14.
Mm,
And then I did that, and like, I got like my teammates like kind of like waiting on me, like, yo, man, are you gonna like scrap together like another fucking team car? Like, what the fuck are you gonna do?
mm,
Bring it to the final bout. It sucked. Take it on the racetrack. It like wasn't the car that I thought it was gonna be.
yeah,
Then I was like, fuck this. Like, let me go back into a hatch, at least have some fun drifting again, because like for some reason I can't get away from the drifting. But
yeah,
now like every single year I've owned this car, like the it becomes less and less and less drift oriented in terms
mm,
of like setup.
yeah.
Um and like I don't know, man. Like I keep having more fun with it though for some reason. So like
Interesting.
I don't know if it's like driver mod or whatever.
Yeah,
Like but like I'm like pushing myself to make the car still do certain kind of drifts even though it's not even set up to drift anymore other than the
yeah,
two-way.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like yeah, like I'm in this like weird position where I'm just like, okay, well,
What have
I
you
want to grip,
changed?
I want to drift. Like I changed the whole front end, like I changed spring rates. I went from like, extended S14 LCAs to like stock arms, not even because of the whole, like
Yeah,
what's been going on. Like people are going
yeah,
back to it and throwing big spaces in the car and all that shit.
yeah.
Like I just went away from that because like just like mind trust wise, like I don't know if I trust going 100, triple digit speeds on like cut control arms.
Yeah.
Like I got rid of like super aggressive knuckles. I put a really nice, well, as far as I can tell, like a pretty decent braking system on the car. I just got done like figuring out the roll center on the front, like just
Hmm.
all these things, like the alignment. Like I used to run like anywhere between -7 and like -9 up front. Now I'm like barely -4 up front.
Interesting.
Yeah, like maybe like 10 years ago, the -4 was like, yeah, man, yeah, that sounds about right. But like after you've driven a knuckled car at like -9, you're like, this is the shit. This is the cool, like at least S chassis wise. I can't say for any
Yeah,
other car.
yeah.
But now,
I
like I said, the car is like, quote unquote, pretty grip oriented. I'm like having a lot of fun with it,
huh.
trying to drift it like this, even though it doesn't drift as well.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe the additional challenge, or maybe that setup's just better designed for your like approach or shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
I
interesting.
don't know. Like a lot of guys, like well, like on my team, like Chab and Simba, I think Ilya too. Like, but Chab and Simba, I know particularly like the front ends to wash out and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Like with I don't know if it's just like they like that feeling or if they can achieve better angles. There's a lot of
Do
ideas
they
behind it,
like
right?
do they run pretty high tire pressure in the front?
Not necessarily, but
Hmm.
they set up the cars where like the front will have some more give for them.
Yeah. I actually
And I
I
know
like a stiff,
Simba,
yeah, I like a stiff, like grippy front end unless
like
I'm
yeah. So
trying
me,
to do
like
backies.
I'm right. So I'm like total opposite. I'm all like fucking. I want this shit planted. Like not for drifting. I just want the car planted. Like if the
Yeah.
car can't hold triple digit speeds, like banging down the highway and in and out of turns, like then like I don't want to drive it.
Yeah.
Like that's like the whole concept of the car currently. It's just like, does it drive pretty quickly and is it balanced? If it is, then you know what? You have to accept it because it's a better car overall. And then you just got to drift it the way it is. If it doesn't drift as great, you're still driving it better, 9 out of 10 in different scenarios.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I actually started running less camber up front too, and then also some
What's your
other
thought?
stuff. I think
What's
some
your
of
thought
the
of the less camber?
I mean it's different because it's a different platform, but
Sure.
like my tire wear says I should probably add some negative camber, but then like the
Hmm.
steering feel I think is better. I run like really low or really high Ackerman, not really high Ackerman, but like almost close to stock Ackerman.
Okay.
So like, you know, I don't have like the like, you know, flat lead and follow wheel. So like I
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like I like a I don't know, it's weird. I feel like I like a stock feeling front end just with more angle, I guess. So maybe that's
Hmm. Maybe you and I are similar because like
yeah.
I've
It still has
tried to
like an insane amount of angle though, so it's weird.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I only recent and again, like the car is less drift oriented, but only recently have I been trying a little bit like I guess aggressive entry is what you call it.
Yeah.
Like I've had the opportunity to try it, like because like a US Air, like you've been there, like it's not
There's not a
exactly
good spot for it.
right. It's not like an exact good spot to do an aggressive entry, but
Yeah.
like recently I've been able to push my luck at a couple places, um, and yeah, I've been enjoying kind of trying that part. So, but again, it's just like I'm just like at the point where I'm accepting the car for what it is right now, and it's just like who knows how I feel about it next year, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, seems like it works. You
Yeah,
know,
it
can't
does.
complain. Yeah, if you're going drifting and the car is good and you can drive it around on the street and it's not a headache, like
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, I
It's
don't
just
see
that
a
like
problem.
90% of the time I'm absolutely content with the car. Like I like the setup, it drives nicely on the street, it's got a fucking radio, it's got full interior heat, wipers. 90% of the time I'm like, this is all I could have ever dreamed is like fucking pimping around a fucking 180 style hatch. But then there's a 10% of like, I go to fucking California and or you guys come here and I'm like trying to drift with like animal style and proceed and like all the fucking fantastic teams that like and like a lot of the cars are like mad setup and I'm just like fuck it'd be nice to have that other 150 horsepower again.
Yeah, I mean it does. Like I'm not gonna lie, like going from
Mm-hmm.
because you know I just added some power to my car and it's like,
Yeah, hell yeah, it's
well,
sick,
I
dude,
don't
it's
know if I could
sick.
go back, man. But I mean, I
Fuck
see,
yeah.
I
I
see,
mean
like
like I have like a perfect person to compare to. Like I have Simba, which like in my opinion one of the better setup cars with a lot and like he himself like matches the car really well.
yeah,
And like him and I were driving at a big track Autobahn like last weekend. And like again, like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do a couple of drifts on this drift session that we were in, but I'm gonna like set myself out to just drive the track really fast and kind of just like, like how the dudes do it in like hot version and shit. They're just driving
yeah,
fast as fuck and the car gets sideways here and there, but like primarily they're just trying to drive really fast
yeah,
uh, and slide. So that's
yeah,
what I was doing. But then like, there was more than a few times and I was like, dude, I'm getting fucking dusted in terms of the drift. I'm like,
yeah,
man, dude, Simba's just like throwing third, throwing fourth. And I'm like, man, like I miss that feeling. Like I had a S chassis with power before. I'm like, I know how fucking cool that is.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess it's preference, right? Like,
It is. It's preference right now, but like I hate to say it, a lot of what's going on with like, how I'm setting the car. It's not even setting up the car. It's just the fact that like, do components are like, if I pop this SR, like I'm going on record. If I pop this SR, I'm not buying an SR again.
yeah,
Like, I'm not saying I'm gonna go 1J. Like, clearly we all know the options, like
yeah,
K or whatever the fuck.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like dudes are telling me right now, like engine importer dudes, like a local guy was like, hey man, you got a 15 motor in your car, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, like I'm flipping fucking 15 motors for like 6 grand plus right now through eBay. And I'm just like, I was like, 6 grand for that motor?
6,000. Yeah, that's
I was like,
insane.
coming from a guy that's like I have a high respect for like Honda motors particularly. So like
Yeah.
I had an F20, right? I had a B18C5. I've had a K20. Like
Hmm.
these are all those motors to me might be like 5 or up, but not a fucking not an SR, dude. Like come on, man. So, but anyways,
Yeah,
yeah,
and we all we
that's the position I'm in, man. Like, I don't want to pop the motor because, like, I don't want to buy another one, and let
yeah,
alone I don't want any downtime and like the R&D of assembling a
yeah,
K. Fuck that, man. I'm too old for
yeah,
that shit right now, man.
yeah. I hear that.
It's not where I'm at in my life.
I know. I between you and me, I actually thought about it. I was like, it's like these Jay-Z prices
Um,
are getting a little crazy. Like maybe I'll
Dude, when I popped I had a Jay-Z with the Precision 6262. I popped it at Autobahn, and then I fucking the following week, I found another fucking 1J non-VVTi with automatic trans for like fucking $1,100 shipped.
yeah,
And then I just had my dude at the shop, RT at RCN, s- ploop, swapped all that shit in a fucking weekend. Car's good to go again.
yeah.
Like, man, dude,
I got my one
Jay-Z's
J.
are not $1,000 anymore, right?
I got
Like
my one J.
actual.
Oh no, yeah, like a 2J non VVTi or VVTi is like 6 plus.
Oh, I mean, I'd
Yeah.
rather play six for that than an SR, but like, I'm not gonna put an inline six in a S chassis ever again. I'll never do that again.
No, and I get that whole I get that. I totally understand that. Like I've driven them and it's like I don't know the only one that was like was pretty good was driving Jeff Stonebeck's S15, but like
Right.
but
But his,
I
let's
think
face it, that's a really good setup, car plus setup motor.
yeah for sure
I mean, pretty prime, right? Pretty
yeah
prime
for
time
sure. I
like
mean
setup.
yeah I mean I would if I had if I had my S13 still it would have a K series in it like that's without a doubt.
Yeah, I'll be
I
honest.
mean
Like,
like
I'm waiting
was
on Julian, man. I'm just like, he's gonna be the end all be all.
if he
Um,
if he can keep that motor running like anybody can.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so like from
Sorry,
the
man. I'm sorry,
no, man,
Julian, but
like
like,
from the Honda guys that like I've known from the past. So like, K motors are not new to me,
yeah,
and from the friends that I know, like, uh, Time Attack, Track Day, S2000 guys have been putting Ks in their cars for track day, and like those guys have been reporting for many years that, like, oil pressure issues then. So like when I started hearing that, like, oh, like the ideas of, like, Ks and the S chassis are getting more serious, that's the only thing on my mind. I was like, let me know when you guys figure that part out. And
yeah,
then so that's why I look forward to, like, either Hurt or
yeah,
Julian. They'll be the ones to be like the end all be all, like, yes, you can do this with the kit that we're rocking.
yeah. Because both of those dudes
Word.
can't keep a car running to save their life.
Like,
I'm
yo, dude.
sorry.
Like,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
like they're supported by like our locals from
yeah,
TF, right?
yeah.
So, but
I mean,
again, like,
the kit is nice, dude.
yeah,
Like,
no, don't get me wrong, the kit's nice, but
I've
like
been looking at the stuff.
I
Yeah,
just need a motherfucker to like thrash it.
yeah.
What I'm saying?
And then
And
you'll be
like,
like, all right,
and let me know, like, oh yeah, because like our homies out here, like our friend Mikey, like, he's a Honda head ever since the get go, and like, he's been clowning on me ever since I went 1J, however many years ago. He was like, because him and I were in talks back then, like, yo man, let's try to R&D your car for K. And I was like, that's the best idea ever, except that I'm way too stingy and like I don't want any downtime.
downtime, man. That's the
Right.
hard
And I
part.
was like, she was like, so you're gonna go 1J? I'm like, yeah, because like I know that we could do it real easily and really quickly
Yeah,
at a decent price, to be honest, at that time.
yeah,
But fuck, do I regret it? Because I was like, man, like, should have just went K back then. But yeah, he would always clown on me. He's like, dude, your Jay-Z made what, 440 at fucking 14 pounds? It's like, the fucking K would have probably made like 100 more than that.
yeah. Well, yeah.
I was like,
K24 is like two. It's a 2.4 liter.
I know it's a 2.4 with like,
Yeah,
they just, those motors are fucking, those are, that's God's motor, dude.
yeah. I
It
mean,
will be God's motor when if I see it efficiently run in drift cars. When
yeah.
I see that actually happen, then I'll be like, all right, word,
I
it's
think
time.
I mean like we got to do something, like
Dude, they're running out. SRs are running out. Jay-Z's
even
are probably running out at this point.
yeah. I mean like
It's got to be the next thing.
what are these kids that are like just getting into drifting now who are like 16? Like what's
Hmm
that's gonna be
Yeah,
their
but
that's gonna be
yeah,
their SR swap.
I think the younger guys need to understand it's like it's not so much the trend, right? It's not so much like, oh, LS was a trend, Jay-Z was a trend, now K's are going to be. It's not so much that's the trend, it's the availability
yeah,
because motors are going
what's
away.
cheap? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. What's cheap? What's going to keep working? And like,
right.
we're
SR
not.
was cheap, right? It was cheaper to do an SR than build a KA, and then 1Js were fucking stupid cheap, and then like
Yeah,
VVTI 1J was even cheaper.
yeah. I got mine for
Your VVTI?
yeah. I got
Yeah,
a
right.
$1,200.
Oh man,
Like,
that's so
and this
rad.
is 3 years ago. So like it was like a non VVTI 1J was like 2 grand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if
Back in the
someone's
day.
listening to this in the future, we're in 2021.
I
like,
know, man.
like
Tell
so.
you. I
It,
know, dude.
my friend was he was like 2J swapping his car, and one of the importers was called him and he's like, buy one now, like don't wait until you get further in your build, because
Ouch.
they're going up like $100 a day pretty much, because like the demand was going crazy
Oh
and the
fuck.
supply wasn't there. It was so pretty much, one of the guys was explaining to him, and I don't know how much of this is true because you know how people talk, but like they were saying like COVID was like starting to like make containers way more expensive, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they had to make their money back.
Sure.
And then the people who were working filling the containers weren't available, right? So like, because and so like during that, and then also the supply went crazy because everybody was just at home. People were like, well, best, now I got time to swap my car, or like I got my stimmy, or you know what I mean? They were just, people were buying motors left and right. And like the supply went down like crazy, and the demand, like, and the demand just went up like crazy, and it like doubled the prices.
What a
Because like
crazy time, man.
SRs were gradual, but like Jay-Z's like doubled overnight. It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I mean, like I got um. Well, I won't say how much I paid for it, but my motor with a 6-speed attached to it was advertised for like 3,400 or something.
Yeah. Well, that was like,
Right.
that was the price. And that was probably like a little, man, like when I was SR time for me, it was like S15 SR was
Right.
like 3 grand, and
Yeah,
like that was
yeah.
like,
So like, and like
it's like
I'm
7 years
seeing,
ago.
yeah, and I'm seeing 13 motor sets going for like, people are advertising them for like $4,000 to $5,000, and I'm just like, that motor is older than you, dude. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I
So
can't, I can
I'm
imagine.
sad,
But
dude. I'm never gonna buy an SR again. There's no way I'm gonna pay that much money for a motor of that technology and that age. Like, no way.
yeah, I mean,
Uh,
and you're Team Red Bull guy, and now they're powered by Honda. So like, it's kind of,
VTEC. Hell yeah.
that VTEC's been working lately, huh?
Damn right,
This
man.
season.
I know, dude. Like, don't fucking jinx it, man. Like, I'm not a Verstappen fan, but I am a fan of Honda. So, like, I'm rooting for fucking Red Bull all the way to the grave.
I
So,
like I
and
like
this is the
Perez,
year, right?
dude. I like
Yeah, man.
Perez.
Checo's cool. Like, I'm not a
Yeah,
huge Checo fan, but like, I'm hyped to see him there. I mean, like, I'm not a huge Max fan, but like, yo, the fucking kid can drive and he's got a fucking good car. So,
yeah.
yeah,
I-
man.
So okay, I feel like I skipped over like one of the questions that I always ask people, but like, how did you find drifting, and like when did you know like, all right, this is the shit that I need to do? Like I like have to do this, because I feel like a lot of us kind of just got like possessed by
Yeah,
drifting.
yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I was possessed, like I mentioned before, and then, so like I already was collecting. I had magazine and video subscription to VOpt and Option 2 already in the late 90s, or in the in the late 90s. And then so like I was already starting to see some of the Ikoten shit. I thought
Mm,
it was really cool, right? But I was like, at that time in the 90s, I was like, I can't get a Hachi, I can't get a 180, I can't get a S50, I can't get any of these cars, right?
yeah.
And I'm an idiot because yes, you could have, but like at that time, like things, like if you didn't see it in front of your own eyes, it was a fucking pipe dream, dude, for me, right? I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I could rock a Honda, I can get that for now.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I was always interested, and then I started collecting Dory 10 from like volume one.
Mm.
Then I was like really like, dude, drifting is this is not only is it really cool, like the cars are starting to look cool. There was like this fucking light switch like around 99 2000 where the cars were just like, oh, those are drift cars, to like, oh shit,
Yeah.
those are now the coolest looking cars I've ever seen,
Yeah.
kind
For
of thing.
sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I graduated high school, and like I was like kind of like on a hunt for a Hachi. So like if you guys don't know me, that's not my fucking first pick, dude. Fucking A86 is my first pick. Like that's my dream car, dude. A Hachiroku. So after like a bunch of different ones that like just didn't work out, there was like a few here in Chicagoland that like the Puerto Rican group dudes, like they just were like, when they met me, they just like, no, we're not going to sell it to you, which is fine. Then
Whoa.
there was a GZE supercharged car in Florida. I remember there was a couple in California that I tried to buy, but like just never worked out. So that was like '01 ish. And then I met a guy named Phil. You guys might know him, Phil Lee, Philly Pop. He's one of the Club FR dudes slash was part of the final bout in the beginning too. So he's a like huge like Hachi Corolla head, right? So um he ended up getting a Corolla, like that was like around '01, '02. And then that's when we started like um going on fucking Benson's website. I want to say it was like around '01, '02. I'm pretty sure Still 80 Mania was that time.
Hmm.
And then we met a couple other guys. So we met this dude named Tim, which he had a Corolla. Rob Ryder, which was part of Roadster Drift. He was the original dude for Club FR. And this was like '01. He had a turbo fucking NB on white tees, like in '01, '02.
Sick.
Yeah. And then we had like our first like drift like meeting kind of thing at Tima's dad's automotive glass shop. So then like there was like a few people in the Chicagoland area that were like into drifting.
Yeah. You guys all just found each other.
We found each other, we started hanging out more. The interest started getting bigger because more information was getting shared amongst one another.
Mm.
And then it's like when we fucking were like, okay, we're buying our tickets to California to go see D1 exhibition. And that's the story I'll tell every fucking time, dude. So this is the first time I've traveled as a young adult solo, no family, no nothing, right?
Yeah.
That was '02, '03. And I'm standing in will call waiting for my fucking ticket, and all I hear is fucking Nomoken's ER34 coming around the bank, and you just see like a glimpse of smoke coming over the fucking fence.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't even see the car, but like I've been like studying these videos for like a couple years already,
You
and
already
like
knew.
you already knew. It was like, dude, that's fucking Nomoken's
Oh,
ER34.
it's so sick.
Yeah, and that specific moment was when I was like, that's it. Like I have to. That's it. And I didn't even see my first car yet drifting yet. And it was that event. That was the event that really like made it like 1,000%. Okay, everything you're gonna do now moving forward uh is to drift. You're gonna learn how to be a better driver. You're gonna drift. You're gonna get a fucking cool car. And then at that time, Autobox and all that shit, like California was just like this
Yeah.
magical place, dude, right? So like seeing all the Hachis in the parking lots, and like, Benson's car, Nadine's car, Fat Lace Mark was a big inspiration in the early 2000s for me too. Like it was that time, man, when I was like, fuck everything. Like
Yeah.
I need. So then I found that first black SR hatch in fucking San Francisco. Fucking wired the money to my uncle. He picked the shit up. He stored it at his crib in Vallejo for like, I don't know, a month or two before I could finally save up enough money to fucking have it sent back to here to Illinois. And the rest is history, dude.
Man. And then you guys like you guys kind of like, obviously Chicago has like a big streeting culture, or at least it did or still does.
Hmm.
Is it was that just like the natural progression because there wasn't anywhere to go and you're like,
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, okay, like I was in a street racing, so like
yeah. So
any
naturally,
right, naturally like street racing is cool, right?
yeah.
Um, but like, I was weird like that. Like I was like sliding around my Accord in the rain. I was sliding
Yeah.
around my Type R, like doing like literally like for anybody that says front wheel drive cars don't drift, they may not power drift like we all are interested in seeing, but yo, you can do funny shit in front wheel drive cars and it takes real hand control to do it. And like I was like trying to do that stuff like early on, way before I even had a FR. So like when I got my first FR, I swear to God, dude, like, or well, drift FR. Like when I had a two-way and a working e-brake, it was game over. I wasn't like trying to like drift corners. I was already trying to throw into like a long entry, like
Yeah.
because I could
Yeah.
do it in a front wheel drive car already.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I definitely did that when I had my Lancer.
Yeah,
I was
but I
like,
mean, clearly, like, so like I said, like we met up as a group. There was no sanctioned events at that time. The
yeah.
people that met at that friend's glass shop were the people responsible till this day now holding events, like people like Simba and stuff. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, there was no sanctioned shit. So it's just like, yo, man, it's raining tonight. We're watching weather on the eights on television, waiting for fucking rain. We're waiting for rain. We're waiting to go to an IKEA parking lot. We're waiting to go find like areas around the old street racing spots. Like it was just like street or die. Like that was it. That was the only way you were gonna fucking learn.
Yeah.
So that was man probably the best times of my life learning how to drift. But it was because it was on the street. Like there was no
Man.
there was no other way to fucking do it. It was
Yeah.
so sick, man. It was so sick.
Well, yeah, I actually learned on the streets of
Hmm.
Vallejo. So like
Oh,
where your car
sweet.
was from. Yeah, because I used that for a while. That city was like bankrupt, and I met some friends, like Eric Mack
Oh,
and like Tristan and stuff. And they like I met them taking pictures, and they were like, yeah, come
uh,
out. Like we just go streeting all night. And I'm like,
what does a bankrupt city have to do with that?
they didn't have any cops.
Oh shit.
So they only had like two sheriffs on duty for the whole city, and it's Vallejo. So like
Oh man.
they
Okay.
they were busy. They didn't have time to
Yeah.
go like chase off kids,
Yeah.
sliding
Well,
cars around.
some people might know that Chicago is like the fucking shooting capital of the fucking world.
Yeah,
Um, like, no, you're not gonna get shot at every time you walk into the city, but I will say that like the police have certain responsibilities and interests, and
yeah,
like um sometimes it wasn't cars, they were paying attention to other shit. So like when me and some of my friends like me and little Phil was like really my partner in crime when it came to like street drifting in the beginning days, and Chob too. Chob didn't have his own car FR, but like we would let him drive ours, and that
sick.
kid picked it up like he had his own shit. But we would we had our spots, but like we never really use them as spots. Like we were always like hit and quit, like hit and
Mm,
quit, hit that shit next spot, hit that shit next spot, or like random corner hit and just keep running. So that's like how we started street drifting. We weren't like in one industrial yard trying to learn circles, trying to do donuts or whatever. It was just like just keep fucking driving in the rain, hit whatever you see
I keep going.
and go from there. Yeah, and
Yeah,
just keep going. Yeah. That's how we started it. Well, at least my group of friends, we started driving that way. While
yeah.
Simba and his homies, they were in the we call them like in the South Burbs, and like that area is notorious for humongous fucking industrial yards, dude.
I
Hmm.
see. So it's like a very different style of streeting.
Yeah, it was weird, like, cause like it was during the same time, but like I felt that like they had a different vision of street drifting, but they
Yeah,
just had that kind of access. While like me, like where I was at, it was just like fucking entrance ramps, big intersections,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
I wasn't drifting in the back of the industrial yard. I was drifting the roads to the industrial yard
Right.
because I just thought that looked cooler.
It does. I mean,
So
it's like what you would do in a video game
yeah,
if
but
you know.
yeah, man, the street drifting culture in Chicago was one hell of a fucking thing to be able to witness. Even to this day, like there's some guys out there that are keeping it going. It's pretty dope to know that people like have like a real strong interest in continuing doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely shows that there's like a Chicago definitely has like this, I don't know, presence. It's like there's it's such a different style, but it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's definitely like it's all very like you like prove yourself on the street kind of thing type of feel, I guess. I don't know, like a lot of the people who I've
Yeah.
known from Chicago like had to there's like I don't know, I feel like you guys have like tiers and like system.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's like I don't know about tiers. Like I think there's a couple different. I think there's a few generations of it already
I
by
see.
now.
I see.
I think like in my opinion, we're probably like falling into like the maybe as far as up to maybe the fourth generation of like street drifting people, in
Yeah.
my opinion, right? So like I said, I think it's really cool that um it's not just like, hey, let's go shoot. Like I feel like a lot of some of the guys out here are quite serious or passionate about it.
Hmm.
And I think that's like super important to me. Like I think that's like in terms of like the way I envision drifting, like I envision drifting like if I had to choose, like I would envision seeing it on the street still if I had to choose, right?
Yeah.
Um, but
It's definitely aesthetically cooler.
yeah,
Like
it's
it's exciting. It's
mhm.
kind of like, it started out as like a criminal act,
Yeah, man, for sure, dude.
So
Um,
I think all of us have a little bit of criminal tendencies in us, or we
oh
wouldn't have
man,
like found drifting in it to begin with. Like
yeah,
I don't think I know anybody who just like bought a car and went to an event and they're like, I'm gonna do this, It's like
that's really different than how, I see it and feel it. But there
but
are people
that's
like
a
that,
thing
man.
now. That's a thing
That's a
now.
hella thing, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, like, so I'm the type of person that can't drift a simulator at all, fucking at all. Like, I suck. But like, I know that there's like these dudes coming out of their house in a simulator and like hop into a car and like they kind of figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that is mind-boggling to me. Like I'm like, holy fuck, that shit like trains you for real.
Yeah. We had like Gran
So
Turismo
it's
where you
pretty
like
impressive.
watch the replay and the fucking wheels are like,
Yeah, dude. Right.
you
Or
know?
you're in the rough Porsche and like the roof Porsche. It's all-wheel
Yeah.
drive and shit.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
At Trial Mountain, what's up, dude?
Sick. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I love it, man. I really love street drifting like a lot. Like I think about it pretty often. And with the COVID time that happened,
Yeah.
it was a very interesting time for the street. I'll say that. Like I'll just say like I felt young again last year, which was
Sick.
really fucking great for me.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it for the time that it was here, but like I'm pretty sure that time is gone now, so kind of just back to my normal me. But last year was fucking cool, real cool.
Yeah. Well, like, people, what are you gonna do? Like people need that like
Dude, it was
it was a
crazy.
weird time. Yeah.
It was
It
really
was
crazy. Like empty roads, like in the fucking day. I was like, yo, I'm fucking going out. You kidding? Like I'm going out right now. There was like a lot of rumors, that like 50 was like not ticketing people for speeding, for this, for that. They just weren't paying attention. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any truth to it, but I was just, man, like there wasn't fucking 50 in sight.
I remember like
I
going
was just like,
out,
yeah, like holy
driving around,
fuck.
and I was like, I don't think I've seen a cop like the whole day.
Yeah. So like, I work in the medical field. So like
Yeah.
my work day hasn't really changed, right? If anything, I was even busier. So like I was out and about like doing my so like I do different type of work, but like in the mornings, like I'd be out and about like 4:45 in the morning,
Mm,
going to certain areas, seeing patients, this and that, like cruising back towards home, like, in the day or midday. And I'm just like, not only is there no cops, there's like no traffic. This is crazy.
yeah, yeah.
What a time, dude. I'm never gonna forget that shit. Straight up like fucking the fuck is it? I Am Legend, dude. Like what the fuck? Like waiting for like Will Smith to like pop out of
Oh
nowhere.
man, walking through the city on like, I mean, one of those, like, it was like one of the first or second days of lockdown where they're like, you're gonna get a ticket if you're out, blah blah blah.
Right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm like, I gotta. I'm a terrible person. I'm sorry. Like I had a mask on, but like, dude, I had to see with my own eyes what a
Uh-huh.
giant
Uh-huh.
metropolitan city looked like with no people, and
Yeah,
it
dude.
was fucking nuts, bro. Like,
It was. It was. Dude, speaking of like, dude, I saw some of the craziest edits, dude. Like dudes like, like fucking skateboarding, like riding their bikes, just like doing all this shit in the city and like just like there was one edit, I swear, maybe California or New York, fucking dudes just straight skateboarding down the highway and shit. I was just like,
yeah,
that's real.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so it's corny, but like I specifically remember watching one of the like Risky Devil videos where you say like my heart's still in the fucking streets, and I shit you not. Okay,
So
so like,
embarrassing,
but after whatever, it's still cool to me. I don't care.
dude.
Uh, so like, and I mean, is it not true? I mean, like, what has it been like 10 years? It sounds like
Yeah.
your heart's still in the fucking streets, man.
From time to time. Yeah, from time to time it's there.
Anyway, so like before that, like few Vallejo like outings or whatever, I
Hmm.
was I literally swapped my KA in my S13 that I bought because it was like leaking a ton of oil and I didn't know how to work on cars, like even worse at the time.
Yes.
It ended up being that somebody put like a weird fake or like a weird like bushing on the crankshaft pulley and it would like
Okay.
eat the front main seal
Oh shit.
after like
Yeah.
after like running for like 15
Yeah.
minutes. So we like did all this work and we like swapped the long block and we put everything back together and it didn't come with a different crankshaft pulley and
Yeah.
it like started leaking again and I was like, oh man. So we like pulled it off. So I like at least I learned how to like work on cars kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the day we finished it and like it was running, my friend showed he's like, oh, have you ever heard of like we were like looking at Sylvia or whatever on the shop computer in like Larkspur. I still remember. And he like pulls. He's like, "Oh, have you ever seen this video?" And I'm like, "No, what's that?" And like it came on with like the Dom Kennedy and like the
Oh
fucking,
right. Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, this is like a fucking skate video. What is this?" Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "This shit's wild." And then literally that night we are like, "All right, we're going fucking streeting, bro. Like we got
Yeah.
to
I
do it."
think I don't remember the name of the video, but I think that's the one that was produced by like a legit like skate like production head dude.
Yeah,
I think that was his vision. I'm pretty sure. I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, if
I don't
that
know.
quote is from that clip, then yeah,
Yeah, that one was cool. So I was like,
funny ass time.
yeah. I mean, like, dude, how old were you at the time? Like late 20s, probably.
Yeah, I was mid or late 20s already at that point.
Yeah.
Too old to be talking that dumbass shit, but
If you
like,
could fucking see the shit that I said 10 years ago, oh
man,
my God.
but it's just like, like that's how I really felt. Like,
Yeah.
like, like like not that there's like a separation between street drifting and track drifting, but
Yeah.
like I had access to both. Like Club FR was there
Yeah.
and I had access to US Air and all those wonderful things that Club FR has been doing ever since. And yet, like, I still chose to do the majority of my driving on the street because, like, again, like that's kind of where I see drifting. That's the image of drifting to me. I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely, I said it in that stupid ass clip. I was like, yeah, like I like going to the track for like excelling or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's true,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, but still at the end of the
I,
day, like drifting
I
looks the coolest on the street. So
I
I,
think
I
I
hope
think
somebody can build a track that looks like a street. Fuck.
I think they do in like RC drifting, but anyway. Yeah, I think it's because like do you think it's because like your vision of drifting was like seeing street drifting and like the like Dory 10 and like all the like stuff early on and you're like because it was the origins, right? Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like this big like
Hmm.
event based stuff. There was probably like there was always like event footage and like shit, but it was I don't know. The
I
only
mean,
like so when I downloaded like stuff early on, like when it was
mhm.
like Kazaa days, and you're like you just type in drifting and you're like,
Yeah,
what am I
whatever.
gonna get? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Surprise.
and like sometimes you get like a clip from Big X or like street
Yeah,
stuff, and like
yeah.
those were that's really all you saw was like exhibition drifting and then
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
street stuff. So like I've always thought,
Yeah, I think when the internet started happening, it was right around the time that like uh D1 was like really becoming a thing. Because
mm,
like I remember like in the competition aspect, I remember really becoming captured to it when particularly there was this one round for D1. I'm pretty sure it was 2001, 2001, I think was the one that actually had multiple rounds. So it was like it was Imamura the Apex FD3S versus Tanaka and his, orange S15 at fucking Scuba Circuit. And like I remember just like watching that and was just like, okay, dude, this is like the future. Like
mm,
this is it. Like
mm,
so like I gotta tell you, like there I had like my heart broken a few times when it came to drifting because when I bought the black car from San Francisco, I had this idea in my head was like, yeah, like get really good at drifting and maybe like go somewhere with it, right? Because there was people like there were like channels like putting up really interesting shit, right? There was like 360 video was doing some stuff exposing some of the drifting. Then there was another one called Drift. Oh, why can't I remember it? Not Drift Alliance, Drift something. And there was footage of like the Americans and the Japanese dudes like really fucking getting along.
mm.
And I was like, I want to get along with the Japanese guys. Like, yo, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta do to be like that? So then
Yeah,
So yeah, like when I first got that car, like my mindset was like, yeah, of course I wanted just to drift just because, but then I was like, oh, why don't you drift and like start like hitting events and like doing like, like feeder series stuff that they were trying to do back then.
yeah,
But then my car just ended up like, sucking, getting stuck at like I was like you, like I was like a super shitty, I'm still a shitty mechanic, but like like I didn't know how to
Sam.
fucking change a head gasket like on a SR. Like I've never done that before. So, you know, at the time I'm thinking like, yo, time is money. If I might as well just pay somebody and go broke just so like I know I can drive my car at this next event or something. That just, that fucked me over like a million times, like waiting on my car. Is it
Yeah,
gonna be finished? Is it gonna be finished? Do you need what kind of parts do you need? Is it gonna be finished? Like it got to the point where it was like when I started like having my car again, it was just like I don't fucking care anymore. Like I just want to
yeah,
fucking street drift. That's it.
yeah. Less
And
pressure, less like
yeah.
complications. I think like yeah, it's like interesting. It sounds like you went through the same. I mean, I don't want to say everybody goes through that, but I went through a phase of that where I was like, I want to compete and like my boss, because like I worked at Best Buy after I worked at Circuit City in the
Mhm.
car audio install bay, and my boss at the time was like, "Yo, man, you look pretty good. You should try and do some like comps. Like you might have something." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm the man. Like I'm gonna go pro, dude."
Let's do
you
this
know?
shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like I was like 20, 21 or something. So like,
Mhm.
you have like these grand dreams. You're like, this could be my life, dude. Getting
Whoa.
trophies.
Right.
Yeah. Umbrella
It's
girls, what's
it's so
up,
weird, man. Like I don't like my friends know me. Like I like don't have a competitive bone in my body, dude.
Hmm,
And that's probably why I really, really am attracted to drifting because like I don't really see it as competition. But then at that
I do like
time,
that.
for that very short amount of time, I was like, oh, I should like get into this and try to compete. But like I didn't even want to get into it to win. Like I just wanted to get into it because I just like wanted to be part of it.
I
Like
see.
it, you know?
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And then you know, fucking we have this term out here in Chicago called shattered dreams. And more than a few of us have experienced shattered dreams from all right, I'll put a couple people on blast. I'll put one person on blast. My teammate Simba. Shattered dreams, man. Just puts his quarter panel right into a fucking boulder, just street drifting. We actually have a term for that too called boldar because like we clowned on it so bad because like shattered dreams one because you just ruined your car,
Yeah.
boldar because like you just smashed your shit into a boulder. I lost my first that black car. I lost that car to a fucking engine fire street drifting at Goose Island. So I don't know if you know Goose Island, like it's
Yeah.
shown in some of the street clips.
Yeah.
My fucking car burned to the fucking ground there, street drifting.
No.
Yeah, man. Dude, the fucking thing started on fire, called 911. The fire truck shows up. The car is already lit through the hood. It's been lit. It's fucking totaled already. They
No.
fucking hose the car down with the fucking truck. Like, that's my first time seeing the power of like water, like from a fucking fire truck. Dude, I couldn't believe how much water comes out of that in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
They douse the car out, it's out, whatever. They dip, no questions, no paperwork, no driver's license, nothing. They're just pow, put the car out, and they're gone. No cops show up.
All right.
Sitting there contemplating, like, what am I going to do with my life? All I want to do is drift, and I just lost this car that I saved all my money for. I just lost it. And the fucking car starts up on fire again on its own.
No.
Yeah, dude. This time it's an electrical fire, dude. Dude, I can't make this shit up, dude. My fucking homie Nico, he's like a time attack dude, like one of the best drivers I know. Fucking dude's got like root beer in his car. He just starts like pouring cans of fucking soda on the battery to put it out. The car lit up on fire twice, dude.
Oh my god, dude.
Talk about like a reality check. So then there was that gap between, you know, like
You're like,
trying to,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna be a competitive guy.
right.
Like,
Like there goes like my dreams, right? Like
yeah.
shattered dreams, dude. Like, and then there was not a lot of downtime, but there was like a couple years where I was like, I really wasn't fucking with shit. Um, yeah, I just wasn't really fucking with cars too much at this very small amount of time. And I was like, man, dude, I don't know what I want to do anymore. I'm just like, I'm really heartbroken.
Damn. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had a S2000 at the time still, and like I did a lot of illegal driving activities in that car. I did a couple of track days in it, but then it wasn't for a few years later when I was like finally like bit my lip. I was like, fuck this. I love this Honda shit, but like I can't stop thinking about drifting. The S2000 doesn't,
Mm,
it doesn't drift the way that I want it to drift. It doesn't look the way I want it to look when it drifts. Time to sell it and get another car. That's how I ended up in the right-hand drive car.
I will say, like, in my personal opinion, there is like nothing better, like visually, than like a really nicely done S13 drifting. Like, it's just like it
It's
looks like
hard.
it. Yeah,
It's
it's like
hard.
that's
It's
what
very
it.
hard to beat. That's why I'm
Yeah.
still, you know, day in and day out, I obsess about ideas of this thing. Like I could look at it and be like, yeah, I could change this, I could change that. It just doesn't stop. Like that car is like, it's a cheat, you know. Like, and people have figured it out, you know. Like, I mean, people figured it out a while ago, but there was a time when like a lot of garbage S chassis were coming out, like big dollar parts, expensive stuff, and it's just like, yo, that shit looks whack, dude. But like a lot of guys now, like they've figured it out, which is
Yeah.
good in a way, but like sometimes not that good because like now it's hard to differentiate. Like in my opinion, like who I think is like really really down, or it's like they're probably gonna ditch that car by next year and do something else.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, yeah, car building's an art form, especially like any part of it, making it go
Yeah.
fast, making it look good. Like it's
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's consumed a lot of me like up until now. That's why I like trying like the car is really pretty much the same for like the last 3 years. Just like a couple tidbits of vinyl or wheels or bumper, but like it's pretty much the same shit. I'm just trying to tell myself like, yo, man, you gotta chill, bro. I've been wanting to get another car for quite some time, and I'm kind of just like, all right, the only way you're gonna dedicate and like muster up the energy to get another car is if you just like you got to let go of this thing for a little while. It's
yeah.
so easy to spend money on them, you know? It's like
Yeah. I've
the car wasn't broken at all over this winter, and yet I'm thinking about like, wait, you spent how much money on it this year? What the fuck did you do?
yeah. Yeah.
It's so bad, dude.
I mean, I hear that. I mean, I'm like trying my best lately to like spend like be very particular on the things that I change on the car. Like, do I need to do this? And right
Hmm.
now I need a refresh pad, but that's besides you like
Me too. I
sorry to
feel like I
everybody
need
at
a
Final
refresh
Bout
too.
because my I'm gonna show up looking
Fuck,
rough,
man.
but
It's yeah, it's tough. I mean, this is the most haggard looking S chassis I think I've ever owned at like in its current state.
are you having the most fun in it out of
Oh
all of
yeah, I
them?
mean, yeah, of course. But you know, like, from like,
Yeah.
some of the paint's hurt, some of the panels are not so straight anymore, like shit like that, right? Like I'm was I'm the type of person that won't drive their car with broken arrow. Like if
Mm,
I crack my front, I'm not saying break it. I'm talking about crack. If I crack my front bumper, I won't drive the car.
mm.
Like the fucker will sit parked in the garage until my homie will fucking fix it and respray it. Like I'm one of those. I'm so particular about the vision of a car. Like I don't. But yeah, like anyways, I try to tell myself to chill. Like I think I have, but like it's still not to a point where it's like, oh yeah, dude, you finally like
I
you
mean,
finally at that point where you can just relax. Like, no, I'm still thinking about stuff on this car all the time.
I think you have a reputation for having generally having a car that people enjoy a lot. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where it comes from. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
not everybody's gonna do that. Not everybody's
yeah,
gonna like have that attention to detail and you know.
yeah. It's an S chassis, man. It's weird that anybody even cares to look at my car, but like I think certainly these days, like the last couple of
Oh
years, I
yeah,
definitely don't think it's been in the light of other cars because it's like I don't know, man. Like I think it's kind of in a little bit of a lost stage right now, like the last
mm,
couple of years. But that's like I said, it's just because like I don't want to, as much as like I want to re up and all that. So I'm just like, yo, man, just suck it up and just like enjoy it for now. It's fine.
yeah,
You know, it's got all the glass in it. Relax.
yeah, yeah. I I've kind of like gone definitely more like I'm learning more about like engine stuff and like cooling and this
Yeah,
and that.
I've been seeing that, man.
It's I'm very fortunate to share a shop with like people that are way smarter than me. Like I am a
Mm-hmm.
fucking idiot when it comes to like building cars and engines and stuff. Like I could do wiring and I understand that pretty well. But like until I built an engine harness, I had no idea where any of those wires went or what they did or what the how
The
the
only
sensors
thing
work.
I know how to do is stance out a car. That's about it. It's the only
I
thing I know how
mean,
to do. I know how to put
yeah,
on spacers. I know how to align. That's about it. Can't do anything else. I suck.
yeah.
Terrible mechanic, man. Terrible.
I mean, I kind of like I do miss when my car was on 18s all around and like
Yeah, man.
baby
Are you
tires.
on a 17 now? All
17,
around?
18, 17,
Oh,
18.
17, 18. Right, right. So this
Yeah.
year, or actually ever since late last year, I've just been rocking 17s all the time now.
At the last event, I
It's
threw
weird, but like I
I
like it for some reason now.
I bought back the equips that I bought in like 2012.
No shit. The
Yeah.
wait, you had those on the white car, right?
Yeah, I bought those. I bought the full set back from JR.
Holy
Wait,
fuck. Cool.
JR is the one that has he's on run up. He has the
Yeah,
silver
yeah, yeah.
FC.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So he like bought those from me when I parted out my S13. And then I don't know, it was like a year or so ago. And I was just like, man, let me get those back. Like,
Man, I like his car, by the way.
yeah.
I wish his car and my IKEA Formula gray car, like I wish they existed and were next to each other at the same time.
Yeah. That'd be sick.
That could have been cool.
Yeah.
Damn, I like his car a lot.
Yeah.
That was
Jared did a great
exciting to
job.
see his car. I was excited to see his car here at US Air. What was that? Like 2 years back, whatever that was. I like that shit, man. Damn,
Yeah.
man. Oh,
Small
fucking
world.
drift cars, bro. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? Funny that speaking of like the cooling thing, I
Hmm.
hit like massive reality check at that track day last 2 weekends ago at
Hmm.
Autobahn. Um, yeah, I've been like thinking that like I've got this, cooling setup like down packed, right? It's like, oh yeah, Nismo thermo. I've got the Koyo Enflow. I've got a Sard um, swirl tank, whatever, standard shit, right?
Yeah.
And then, like I'll be like street cruising, like water temps are like 160, like not a fucking sign of any issues, right? Like I'll go to US Air or I'll do like any drift day and like if I, I'll be surprised to see water temps hit like 190 plus. Like the car
Mm.
stays cool all the time, right? I go to fucking Autobahn, and Autobahn, the track day that we ran was South Course, which is 2.56 mile track. It's like, so like it's a decent sized track, and
That's a big track.
that's just South Course. So like, and I've driven full course there before, and it's like the
So
fucking
like a five
funniest.
mile or something.
No, it's North Course is a lot smaller. It ends up being just over 3.5 total.
Still, it's
So
still
like three
big.
and a
That's a
half,
big
yeah,
track.
that's a big track, right? So we're doing, and we only got a couple sessions in because we had this crazy storm come in that weekend. But like we got
Mm.
barely a couple sessions in, and it's like 85 degrees, mega humidity. Um, Track is, it's a real track. Triple digit speeds multiple times around that corner, around the track, and I'm just like, and I'm like getting the water temps to like two 210 plus, and like 210 is not horrible, but like
Yeah.
in the
You don't
position
want to
that
be.
I'm
Yeah.
in,
You don't
trying
want to.
to keep it safe, I'm just like, well,
Yeah.
I have my alert at 210, so I got to back off because I want to keep the motor safe. And I'm just like thinking, like, same shit that you're trying to do, like, think about what it takes to do a track day. And this is me, like, with the idea of grip track day.
Hmm.
I'm like, dude, there's no way that I could finish out a session with the water temps doing like under the control that they're in right now. So, like, now
Yeah.
I'm like, thinking like, man, I got to do, you know, some ducting work to be serious, right? If I want to really do it again, ducting work, I have to understand if a Kaguchi Power hood is really designed to have a cooling system like this, or did Kaguchi really design it as a V mount
Mm.
setup? Because his car was like a V mount car, and like I don't
Yeah.
know if you've seen old pictures, like he's had the fucking ducting run up and over the valve cover and shit back in the day.
They do some like wild stuff in Japan. So like
Yeah.
pretty
So
much
like,
here like And you just, even to this day, you still get like trickle down information. It's like,
Oh
oh, like
yeah,
some
for
of the
sure.
Jay-Z guys in Japan, they run like an electric water pump on the lower hose and like got the stock one. And I was like, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
I'm like,
know.
oh, I'll try it,
But
And
yeah,
like,
like, it was just like a reality check. I was just like, man, I spent all this money on this, this J hood that like I've wanted for many years. And then I'm just like thinking like, oh, well, like, I mean, I wasn't expecting the hood to keep my fucking water temps like perfect. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but at the same time, it's just like, like, oh man, like how did Kikuchi design this hood to work? Like, did he design it to work, or was it more aesthetically, or was it particular to the V mount? So, and if the hood riser doesn't help, obviously, but now it's got me thinking of stupid shit and ducting and all this other dumb stuff that like I shouldn't need to do for such a slow ass car.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what keeps you going, right? Like my car is pretty solid. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but then you're like, you go to an event and it gets hot and you're like,
Yeah,
I don't like that. Like, how do I
yeah,
fix that? It's like kind of, I feel like all of us have like a little bit of like, like high functioning OCD or something, like we wouldn't be
yeah.
trying to make the cars nice and drift them and do all this stuff. Like,
Yeah, it's a big multitask. It's a big ask for anyone, right? Like so
yeah,
like we were at Grid Life the other weekend. That's the event that I'm talking about. And like so I haven't been to Grid Life. I didn't go to Grid Life last year because of the pandemic. And then the year prior, I want to say I was there, but I don't remember for some reason. And like the level of cars there like has skyrocketed in performance and teams and all that shit. And
yeah,
like you look at these cars and like how they're set up and all that shit, and it's just like full blown dedication, like race cars, even race rigs. But then but you see like the condition of them, like I'm just saying, like it's a high order to ask for to like have a good looking track oriented or dedicated car. It's a very difficult thing to do.
yeah. I mean,
Even the grip guys, and they're not. Some of them aren't tangling like you and I might tangle together, right?
right.
And their cars are like, fuck, rough around the edges, man. But they're
Yeah,
fast as fuck.
yeah. I mean, like, I, I will, I will always love the like Japanese time attack cars, right? Like the fucking
Oh,
ridiculous arrow and like
thousand
that,
percent.
dude, the hyper evo. I was a big Mitsubishi guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. I think I like the hyper evo. I always like anytime like that Evo 10 Team Orange car.
Hyper. Are you talking about the June one, or are you talking about the Hyper Cyber?
Cyber Evo.
Cyber Evo. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Cyber
that's
Evo.
really the
Sorry.
one that was king back in the day.
Yeah, dude, I like watching that thing and just like, oh man. So like I feel like Time Attack does do some cool stuff, but it's like
Dude.
I don't know. It's for some reason like a drift car that looks pretty cool, like visually. Like if you're watching a video of like a really sick Time Attack car or
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
pretty cool drift car, like the pretty cool drift car is more like attention grabbing
Oh yeah,
to
yeah,
me for some reason.
yeah.
I don't know.
Like I've been in a battle. Like I was just saying, like my car feels a little lost in translation the last couple of years, but like I'm in that battle too of like having a drift in oriented slash GT looking kind of funky fucking Nissan. It's fucking hard, right? It's hard to like have this car that's like so universal in style and then like mismatch a couple things to try and make it
I
like
don't know,
grow and
man.
flow.
I think that's kind of the look right now. Like that's kind of where things are going. Like B
Hmm.
Strong has his S15, like with like here's GT on it and stuff, and like I think it's on
Fucking fire.
17. The thing's so sick, right? But it's like a couple years ago, like that would be like, ooh, that was a weird choice. But like to me, that I see that like I see your car, his car, kind of like that style with like 17s and like really kind of more like GT look. I love it, dude.
There's
I think that's kind of like the new wave.
I mean, to be honest with you, like, yeah, I mean, drifting is just like the super odd thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just an odd thing. Like, It's
Yeah.
such an odd thing. Like I don't know how to explain it, right? But like everything else, like I feel very much has purpose. Like drifting, in my opinion, is not very purposeful, but like the dedication it takes to pull it off correctly is just like higher than maybe a lot of people really get. Like,
Yeah.
man, dude, like I love GT cars, man, but like I also love very, very drifty looking cars, dude. Like, like I think it's hard to beat, like 1819 fucking chrome unsexy style. Like I think that's very hard to beat. Like for me visually,
It's it's
like
it's
that shit.
definitely it's
Whoa,
definitely like the most yeah, like I miss having like I think I had was it like 18 by 9.5, 18 by 11s
holy shit, that's
on my
big.
836 at one point, and it's like, dude,
Really?
no one runs, or at the time, like no one even ran 18s, let alone like,
Yeah,
you
man.
know,
It's
I'm
just like
like,
drifting is such an interesting thing. Dude, I remember when Week Fest came to Chicago for their car show, and me and the fellows went out, like Risky Devil, Junk House, and like a few other of our friends and acquaintances, and we went out there. And I remember I won, I won like the stance, uh, trophy or whatever.
mhm.
Like I got first place stance,
And
you
all the
know?
people are like, what the fuck is this? And you're like,
Yeah,
dude,
and I'm just like, what do you mean, what the fuck? It's like the car's on 18, 9.5, 19 by 11. The car is Shakotan. It's like scraping arrow. It's street drifts. It track drifts. Like, what do you mean, what the fuck?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
the car does everything that your car doesn't and has a stance like yours. Like, what do you mean, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
I'm out here enjoying this car stanced,
I
and
do
like,
miss, yeah.
I miss it. Who am I
My
to fucking lie, bro? Like,
I do
everybody that tells me, hey, bro, do it again. Yeah, I want to, but I'm not going to, but I want to.
I don't know. I feel like you get past a certain age where you're like, you kind of get past this, like, I don't know how to say this without sounding weird, but like you almost have like this like kind of like look at me age, where you're like, and
Yeah,
then, and you're like, or it's like you kind of just don't give a fuck about any of the annoying shit that goes along with like having this
that's
like,
that's it for me.
yeah,
I was talking to one of the local guys and like one of the nicest kids, but he'll always poke at me like, yo, man, like bring that car back. And I'm just like, dude, like street driving a car on 215/35s up front
that's what
and
I had on my,
235/35 19s in the back. Like I cannot express to you guys how whack the car feels, dude.
yeah,
Like need me like to remind you, like S chassis suck, okay? Like that's why they drift, because the dynamics of the chassis sucks. Like it's not a good car, you know,
yeah,
right? And then you make it suckier by doing like a setup like that. So then the
yeah,
car like is on another level of suck. Like it's just so bad to drive. And but it's just the best to look at, man. It really is. But going back to what you're saying, like I'm over the I don't mind scraping. Don't get like scraping and shit. That doesn't. It's not that bothers me. It's the fact that the car will not drive a triple digit speed. It
yeah,
won't fucking turn for shit. Like it'll slide out at any given moment.
yeah.
Like the car is horrible, dude. The car is horrible to drive like that. And you can't drive it at a moderate height and think it's gonna look okay. No,
No, it won't. It has to be
the car has
hammered.
to be hammered on the ground to
Yeah.
pull it off like even half okay. I'm
It used to
man.
take me like 2 hours to
Ooh.
my car on a trailer by myself.
Oh yeah, dude.
It was like you like got like 15 boards, and then like one of them will shoot out, and you're like, I remember like literally having a full blown like meltdown
Oh,
in like this like parking lot because I was trying to get my car on the trailer and it got like stuck, and then the block fell out. Like, what do I do?
I know.
Yeah.
I know the fucking feeling. I know the
Yeah.
fucking feeling. I mean, like, call me old, but like, I literally don't have to plan my route with this car. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it high, and I'm sure a lot of guys could say it is. Like, I wouldn't call it high, but it's
Mm,
definitely nowhere near as low as my old cars. But like,
yeah.
I don't have to plan my route.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I can't take that exit.
Like I can't take that exit. I definitely can't take that. I definitely can't take that route or whatever. Like this car, like I can literally turn it on and drive it into the city to go visit friends and family and like and drive it home while like that old car I might not even be able to count the amount of times I took it into the inner city. Like I probably couldn't even count it with my own hands because it was so bad.
Damn.
Yeah. What fun's a car if you don't drive it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you don't drive it on the street, you can't drive it. Like you I feel like I progressed in my drifting ability past like where that car, as slammed as it was, could get me.
Sure.
And then I was like, okay, I got to change it up. And I still want
Right.
it to look good, and I still put time in, and I'm like, still have like a lot, like a, still like try and put a vision together and like make it aesthetically pleasing, and
Hmm.
like something that like I'm proud of to see pictures of and shit. But like at the
Yeah.
same time, you gotta like, it's almost harder to find that balance. You know what
Sure.
I mean? Like, well, it's not as hard as trying to make a car have a bunch of steering angle and be like slammed on the ground. That shit
Yeah.
terrible. But
Like it's definitely like a full experience for me these days. Like in the 10 years that I owned the right-hand drive car, and you've been out here, I never once street drove it to US Air and back. Never. In 10 years, I never did it. I trailered every single time. This chassis, I I've in the 3 years, I trailered it one time.
mm,
And it was the first time, and that ever since then I've just been street driving it. Not to say like, oh, the car is like super reliable or whatever, but it's just like the fact that like I could actually get there in a bucket seat and not be pissed off for like 3.5 or 4 hour drive. Like I could actually drive the car there, make it there safely for the most part, have some fun and get it home. The
yeah,
old car, fuck no. I
yeah,
would have never, I would have never, and I never did drive it because it was just like, it was a hassle, dude, like a massive hassle.
yeah.
So,
I feel like as time goes, like, I'm 31, and I know that there's going to be a point in which like I want to like enjoy my car that I spend so much time on, like more than just going to
mhm.
events or whatever. So it's like I'm kind of like in this weird thing where,
Do you think that's partly by, design, like by location? Because like obviously you say
yeah,
that Chicago has this presence and kind of like understanding of the types of cars, but like I know that like the majority here, like the majority of the runtime on their cars is on the street. Not to say street drift, I'm just saying like the majority of the runtime on the
yeah,
car is driving, cruising. Um, some places are not like that, right?
yeah. There's definitely dudes that drive to events and stuff here, but
It's still pretty tough, bro.
it's different. Yeah, it's
It
different. And
still
and
is,
they
right?
don't
It's
and they
still a
don't,
thing, huh?
people definitely don't drive their cars. We just have all those tough
Yeah.
emissions laws. I think it would probably be different. Like I would drive my car on the street as is if it was pretty
Mm.
legal. Like if I didn't
Right.
have to do a bunch of crazy stuff. Like I'm working on something where I might be registering it in a different state, but like just to enjoy, like I want to drive it to,
I know what you're saying. Yeah. No,
like
I know exactly what
maybe
you're saying.
once or twice a year. I want to like drive it on the Bay Bridge or something, and you
Yeah.
know
I mean,
not
like when I went to see you guys at the last Final Bout trip, like, bro, I mean, yeah, the car went to California on a trailer, but the entire time it was in California, I was driving it everywhere in California. Like
yeah,
I went to the canyons in it. I cruised up and down like LA, all that shit. We visited like Hurt and
yeah.
stuff. Like,
LA's a little different than Northern California because there's just so many cars, and
uh-huh.
but like it's just I don't know. It's a gamble. Like you never know who you're gonna see.
Really?
You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
in LA, there's just less. There's just
Mm,
less. I don't know
yeah.
how to explain it. There's so many people. Like, what are you gonna do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah. I mean,
so many modified
I got
cars down
rolled
there.
down there.
Did you?
Yeah, I got rolled going to Glendora, going up to fucking GMR. I got rolled going up. I mean, I knew I had my expectations. I was like, yo, if I'm gonna hit GMR in this car, more than likely I'm gonna get popped getting up there while I'm up there or coming down. Yeah, they got me going up, but they didn't give me a hard time. They let me on my. They're like, so where you going? I was like, gonna keep going up. And you're like, all right, be safe. And I was like, okay. They did give me a hard time. They were nice, but they did give me a hard time because they really were like, okay, Illinois license plate, Illinois tags, Illinois driver's license. Are you really from Illinois, or you're from here and you just have all the right paperwork? I was like, no, I'm from Illinois, man. Like, I'm gonna be gone in like 5 days
Yeah.
back to Illinois. Yeah, so they were giving me the runaround on that part. Like, where do you really live? Where do you really keep this car? I was like, in Illinois, where I'm from.
Yeah. But that's the thing. If you were from California, like it would have been a different conversation. You know?
More than likely, they
Yeah.
probably would have been probably like dickheads and like, yo, get the fuck out of here. You need to go home, and here's a ticket with you.
Maybe. I
Maybe,
don't
right?
know. Maybe. Yeah. I guess it's just priorities. Like I think it's like, what does your group of friends want to do? Like you guys all want to go streeting? Like then fuck yeah, go streeting. And then the people that I
Oh
drive with,
yeah,
like we're like,
thou- thousand
you know,
percent.
trying to do
Yeah.
this or that, or when's the next event? Oh, I'm trying to like work on this like technique. And I mean, I'm sure you guys do the same thing. Like I'm not saying
Hmm.
that that's universal, but like, yeah, it's just kind of a different mindset, especially in Northern California. Northern California is like extra tough with police and enforcing all that stuff for
Well,
whatever reason.
I didn't realize Northern California was the tougher part.
I mean, I think it's both, but
Yeah, I'm
there's just
sure.
there's just more. I think I don't know. People still drive their cars at the track in Sonoma,
Yeah,
but
we're started, but like when we started, I don't know how you're gonna start off the intro on this because we didn't do shit. But yeah, no, I think Chicago was starting to get some of that heat of the sideshow stuff. Like they're doing their own type of sideshow shit out here too now,
yeah,
and it's getting heat.
it's
It's
really it's
known. It's known. It's one thing to. But now it's like legit known. Like, yo, we know what you're fucking doing if you're gathering around this area.
if anything, it's getting more difficult to drive your car on the street because of that.
It's gonna happen here. They're
Yeah,
gonna feel sorry when it happens, man. I'm gonna feel sorry too, because like I love enjoying my car on the street first and foremost, and then the track days and stuff. That's all just a bonus, to my enjoyment of cars. But like they're gonna learn, man, sooner or later. They keep that shit up, keep it up on the social media, the news will
dude,
catch
it's
on to it, and then it's gonna be like, yo, anytime you roll through here, you're fucking getting rolled. You're gonna get tickets, you're gonna get impounded, all
like
that shit.
once a month they have one literally outside my door and like a
Fuck.
100 feet, like less than 100 feet in this intersection from me. I was watching this video, this like edited video from somebody, and they're like, it's like a bunch of different locations or whatever. But I'm like, dude, that's outside my whole department,
Oh
like,
my god,
and
man.
and for whatever reason, here's how things go from bad to worse, right? Right now, there's a lot of that stuff going down in like business parks and like kind of like rural intersections and like you know uh kind of the in the like, I don't know how to say it without sounding bad, but like where they've always had sideshows was like Oakland near the Coliseum. Like that's where they always were. Like
Okay.
down international somewhere, like, you know what I mean? Like it was, that's where it all was. And now they're
Got you.
getting
Okay.
so popular that like, and they're doing them like with so many people, they're starting to go to just like neighborhoods,
Oh
and
my
like they're going to
lord.
like nicer and nicer neighborhoods, and you know what happens when you know what I mean, like
You don't have to say it. Yeah. You
you're
just,
gonna
Yeah. There's just some
you're,
places that
you're just
shit
gonna
just will not be tolerated,
you're gonna
period.
get a gang of Karens and probably some senator's
Right.
cousin or something, you know, and
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah, it sucks, like clearly I'm like guilty of enjoying myself on the street as well. But I'm not talking about the people doing it and their skill set, their ability to control a car or any of that shit. They're just like, you know, it's like a safety aspect, and like clearly a lot of these have shown like that it's not safe.
Yeah,
Like, dude, like somebody showed me, like, I think there's like an Instagram page like dedicated to people just getting fucking hit by
yeah. There's a
sideshow
there's a lot of them.
cars. And I'm just like, man, dude, like I know people find their jollies in a lot of different type of shit, but I'm like, fuck. I was like, that's not good. It's not a good look, man. It's not a good look. How are you guys not afraid to get tracked down on this shit, man?
I I don't know. I don't know how it goes. I don't.
Yeah.
So like, did you know that some of the takeover people, they rent out the skid pad to them at Apple Valley, and they rent it overnight? I mean,
Uh,
but
I mean,
they make so much money off the gate fee of $10 a person. It's like insane.
wait, so like people want to spectate these dudes, or I don't understand.
It's all the people who would usually be following them around, going to different intersections, and then they just all bring their cars and they all like come. Like literally, we were at Apple Valley and the day was over, and we're like loading up and packing up and stuff, and there's like a line of cars. Like you've been there, so you
Yeah.
know. There's like the little entrance and that dirt road, dude. There's a line of cars on that dirt road, like all the way to the like main dirt road, you know, like super choppy one. There's like 200 cars in line waiting to go in because they like keep everybody out until like everybody leaves or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, at least they're going to a track. I don't know. It's
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Like, I mean,
I just don't I don't
that's
really
where
like.
you're supposed to do it, I
Yeah.
guess.
I
Or
I
if
mean,
there's is a place to do it, right?
I guess I just don't understand the allure. Like I'm
I don't understand the allure because I'm a pussy. I don't want to get hit by a fucking car. Like, I don't want to get hit by a car because like that's gonna hurt.
yeah, like I'll stand on the track and like film, and like I'll
Mm,
stand in some like questionable places, you know, like
sure,
I'll
sure.
stand on the wall of Mahon, but like at least I'm behind a wall.
Yeah.
And I know those dudes can, I don't know. It's definitely going to negatively affect, like,
Yeah, man, I'm scared, dude. Like,
because
more
people
than a
don't know
few
the
of us
drift.
talk about it. Like, yeah, like
People don't know
drifting
the
is
people don't
drifting is
know.
really easy. Is like easily frowned upon.
Yeah.
Um, and like everybody knows, like especially like the early generation of drift guys know, like it was almost impossible to get a venue to allow you to even come hold an event just for drifting. You know, like I think that's how we started off the fucking chat. Was like, yo, man, like the takeover dudes. Like, I'm not calling you guys out as like individuals. I'm just saying like what you guys are doing is gonna take away from all the hard work that like some of our friends and some of our OGs put in to like, because once again, like this is just a bonus. We don't have to be allowed to drive our cars on the street, let alone a racetrack. All that shit can get taken away, man. Just like because you pissed off the right people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. You think emission laws are bad now? Like all they have to do
that's
is
what
be
I'm
like, look
saying.
at
Like,
this. This is
yeah,
what people are doing with gas cars, you know?
like
This is
you guys have talked about it in some of the other podcasts. Like, we're literally in the beginning of the end. Like all this shit that's happening on social media with people like doing what they are doing, and then like the fucking era of gasoline cars and like
Self-driving
electric,
cars.
like bro, like they're gonna be like, yeah, dude,
But like you're
let's
not.
get rid of all them shits.
Yeah, people can't drive anymore. Look at what people are doing with cars.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess it's like almost hypocritical. It's like, oh yeah, like I will go slide around in Vallejo, but it was like,
I know, I know, I know. You can't compare it, like, because like you're still a hypocrite at the end of the day. It's like,
yeah,
as much as like I want to say that like me and my generation of street drift friends had very strict rules, or like the guys that I used to fucking do crazy stupid conjo runs like every night in the Hondas, like as much as I can say like we had very strict rules, like at the end of the day it's like illegal, right? You're
yeah,
not supposed to be doing it, so
yeah.
stop what you're doing. Stop being an idiot.
Uh,
Listen to Josh and Palmer.
yeah.
Stop doing that.
We know what we're talking about.
We know what we're talking about.
Damn kids.
Yeah, don't do that.
Get off my lawn, literally.
Oh my God, dude, that's so crazy, dude. That's so crazy.
I'm gonna just next time they're out there, I'm just gonna. I don't know.
I know, right? It's like, what, you don't know why even, right? Because I think one of the friends like was sharing like there was like a straight up like a rule or a law in effect that like if you actually post that shit in your area that like you could be fined or arrested or something, just even
Yeah, I think
sharing
so.
the content.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because they're like trying to make moves, but it's like, how do you stop something like that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we all know how that can go too. And like what I was hearing even locally was like, some of these people participating in it are like getting pretty like aggressive, like physically aggressive with like the police officers. And
mm,
like that's just stupid, man. Like you're not gonna push the wrong cop, man.
yeah,
That's dumb. Like, what are you doing? If a cop tells you to stop, just stop. Get the fuck, man. But anyways, who am I to tell you? I'm not your dad. Who am I to tell you? I don't know what I'm talking about.
yeah. I don't know. I don't think I doubt anyone who does that or goes is gonna watch this, or if they do, like they probably get why. I don't know. I think
Mhm.
we're all in agreement. It's just like, what are you gonna do, man? Like, what's
What
I
was
just think about the next generation. Like, what's the next generation gonna get into? Because like that,
dude?
dude,
They're gonna
that
be
was
doing it in fucking airplanes or some shit. Like, I don't even know. Like, you're right. Like, okay, so me and my wife are expecting a kid in October. Like, so when this
congrats.
kid's like 16 or 18 or 21, what's going to be the like we're just acting a fool type of thing? What's it going to be like then?
Yeah,
I don't even
we
know,
like
bro.
hacking self-driving cars and
I mean, come on, that's a given. Like, that's going to happen.
for sure.
That's going to be such a given, man,
Be
for
like, hold
sure.
on, here's the cheat codes to like manually drive it.
I figured it out. I
I know
figured it
there's.
out, Dad.
Oh my god,
Stop that. Plug it back into the wall. What are you doing?
it's not safe.
It's not put a helmet on.
Uh, imagine like, yeah, I don't know, explaining to your kids like, yeah, I used to like drift on the street, but I mean, like, if I don't know, I feel like if you use that, like, are you gonna tell your kid about?
Fuck, dude. I don't know. So like, okay, like, I mean, what if my kid fucking Googles my name in, 2050 or whatever?
Yeah,
Like, hopefully I will have done enough with my life that all that shit will just be canceled out.
yeah, but it probably won't. Yeah, just be like,
It
oh, no
probably
wonder.
won't, man. So
See, like that's a crazy thing. Like we can't look up what our parents did. Like we just have to take their word for it.
right, but everybody
Like
can look up
what were
what
you
we're
into?
doing.
My dad's like, oh yeah, I used to like do coke with the Eagles, and I'm like, yeah, fucking bullshit. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
bullshit. Right.
But
I
like,
know, man.
but maybe, you know what I mean? But like, I'd be like, show me the fucking TikTok, dad. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's just so crazy, man. Like everything we do is like time stamped, man. Like
Yeah,
we don't even know the extent of what how data is going to impact like our future. Like
Yeah.
we don't even. I mean, probably like I'm not intelligent enough to know that shit. Like I don't. That's not me. But like when you think about like, dude, the data that they have on us today, like I don't even fucking want to know what they're gonna do with it in 20 years.
I know. The one thing that I'm like really worried about is like what I put out on the internet is constantly like, they can like turn XYZ into words and this and that. And
Absolutely.
so they can build
A
like
case.
like a psychological
Oh
like
shit, yeah.
like psychological like they can be like this person has this disorder and probably has this and every 2 months they like go like this person's
Right.
bipolar and their
Yeah.
stints go from like December, you know what I mean, like
Yeah, like
imagine
a
going to an
blueprint. Like, oh yeah, we know.
imagine
We've seen this kid before. Seen
imagine
him a
going
million
in
times.
yeah, imagine going in for your dream job and they like look your shit up and they're just like, oh yeah, he had a meltdown in 2012
Dude,
and
dude,
you know
that's
what I
so
mean.
funny that you said that. So there was years back, years back, I got promoted to take a director position. Okay. And then like they invited me to come to the facility. I was gonna be a director at. They're like, why don't you come visit the facility? You haven't started your first day, but why don't you come around, take a tour and shit? Like uh, I roll up to the facility, I get in, and the fucking like secretary greeter or whatever, first thing she says is like, aren't you in that junk house video? And I'm just
Oh no.
right, dude. And it's just like, like, okay, like, you get this, you work hard, you try to, like at
Yeah.
least for me, like I worked hard. I try to get this fucking career position shit. And like first time walking in, like somebody recognizes me not as the director of a facility, but as this
Yeah.
fucking dude in a drifting video that's got many illegal activities happening in the video, like, oh my God, dude. Can we just keep that between you and I? Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Stop
you're
that.
like I'm gonna be a director. I need to take this
Like,
seriously. You're like giving yourself a pep talk before you walk in, and then just like floored.
yeah. But it's like
My boss
we
is my boss is coming to Final Bout West.
oh shit, cool.
He's
Man, I
like,
wish I
oh,
could be there, bro.
he's like,
Fuck.
I want to check it out. I'm like, he's like, I'm gonna because he's like working on a project for I can't say it, but he's gonna
Hmm.
be in LA.
Oh,
And
nice.
he's always wanted to come out. And I was like, well, I'm gonna be at Willow Springs, and he's like, oh, cool, I'll be there. Like, oh shit. I'm like,
You're registered to drive and all that?
mhm.
Oh man, sick, dude. I wish I could go. Like I had initial plans to really be out there, but like things are looking still pretty busy over here on my end, so I couldn't get the time. Couldn't get the time.
That's how it goes, man. That's life. Or just,
Yeah.
do what you can when you can.
Yeah, man, and like I can't be upset about it. Like me and my wife have like been doing, the most. So
Yeah, I
we're at
bet.
that point where it's just like, word up, man. It's gotta roll with the punches and see how where life takes us now moving forward, which is really, really exciting. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
man, like I'm super like nervous about this car shit, man. Like I, like we're talking like I'm in the middle of like construction and like I'm like so amped to have this space to like enjoy like my hobbies and I'm just like, man, dude, like am I even gonna have this thing in fucking 10 years? Like
Yeah.
by choice, yeah, but like what if the fucking government's like, all right, guys, gotta turn in anything pre-94, gotta turn it in. Oh fuck.
I know.
What am I
I
gonna put
know.
in that garage, dude? Fucking nothing, man.
They might make you turn it electric or something. I feel like there would be such an uproar.
Dude, man, look, the RC dudes, if they figured out how to make their fucking RC cars drift and make engine noises and pretend hydrogen fucking smoke and shit, somebody will figure it out, man. I've got
Yeah.
faith. There's some smart people out there. Not me,
Yeah.
but there
Yeah.
are some
Yeah.
smart people out there.
I don't think our sport that's the thing, man. Like our sport is so close to being under fire, like at all times. I feel like
I know, man. It's the easiest motorsport to just be like, nope,
no, no
can't bring
more.
that here. No
Yeah.
more. That's the
Yeah.
first one gone.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm. I absolutely agree. And you know what the funniest thing in my opinion is, it's like literally the least dangerous of the motorsports.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think people just don't. They just don't understand it. One of my really really close friends, right? Like I've known him since high school. I've been trying to get him to come out to ride in the car for like 10 years, and he's like the type of dude who doesn't like
Hmm.
airplanes and like
Mm,
anything that's like out of his control. He's like
sure.
weary of. And I finally got him in the car, and he's like, "Oh shit, this is fun!" Like
Yeah, dude, it's
we
very
waited, we
fun.
waited like 10 years. He's like, "Well, I just remember like you trying to like street race and like crash when we were
Oh my
like
God, dude.
17." I was like,
Yeah. It's
"It's
crazy, man. Like that,
yeah,
the I don't know. Like for me, like the sensation of drifting is like, of course it's very exciting. But like when I was at um, the event the other weekend, I was like doing both, right? I was like trying to do some of the high speed entries, like fourth gear entries, but then there's sections of the track that are like actually full blown fourth gear, like high speed, like grip, right?
mhm,
And it's just like running at full throttle at high speed at the limit of grip is way scarier than just trying to chuck a car in fourth gear to drift.
it's funny because like people who
It's
just
so
do grip
weird.
and do drift, they think the opposite."
No, dude, like driving at the limit of grip is way scarier than like testing your limits of drifting grip. Like it's fucking way different, dude, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. That's,
Yeah,
I
man.
guess, whatever you're comfortable with. Would you ever like, if drifting wasn't a thing anymore, would you ever just do grip, or would you like
Yeah,
call?
100%. Like I mean, me personally, like I enjoy grip driving as much as I do drifting. I
Mm,
just happen to be in like a really deep and dedicated amount of group of people that like really love drifting as much as I do. So like
yeah,
I'm so easy to gravitate towards drifting. Like if I have a track day that I know is like a grip day, and there's a track day that's a drift day on the same day, like gonna still choose the drift day because like I love it.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if push comes to shove right now, it's still I choose drifting over grip. But like, that's kind of like why like this car is kind of going through these paces to like multitask.
Yeah,
And now that I drove it again, like now I've like exposed another weakness to it that's just like, oh man, it won't even survive like a full blown weekend if I tried.
I kind of want to take my car and go do like a grip only day,
You
and
should,
like,
man. Yeah, you should absolutely do it. And I'm kind of bummed because like a lot of the guys, are homies from Indiana, like Derek King and Camden and stuff. Like,
they're going like all in. It seems
yeah,
like
yeah, for
Camden's
sure.
setup is nuts.
Camden's FD is just gorgeous. His
Yeah,
car is pretty much a grip car, but like, I know DK, like Derek King was like really hyped to see that some of the, the drift drivers had some interest in coming out, but like I wasn't even able to make it to the event that we initially planned on making. So excuses, dude. I've got every excuse in the book. God damn.
you know how it is. I don't know. It happens.
I know, man.
I've
Yeah.
been like, I think during COVID, I kind of like figured out that drifting is more important to me than I initially thought, which I didn't. I don't know. I just like I you couldn't do anything, so like it was
Hmm.
like playing like a seto with everybody, and like those nights like was the shit. And then I'm
Yeah.
like I would just go work on my car, and like I'm like, okay, this is like
Yeah.
keeping me going. And it wasn't just drifting, it was just like that's what I do with cars, and like cars were kind of like just kind of carried me through, you know.
Oh
I
yeah,
like
dude. I mean, I stayed away from every track day last year, with the exception of just like a private day for final bouts, just media stuff.
yeah,
Other than that, I didn't do a single US Air or Grid Life or nothing, just because like my line of work, and like
yeah,
I have got this guilt of like, yo, man, like I'm around like fucking sick people, I'm around like COVID people.
yeah,
Like last thing I want to do is like, oh shit, I got it. And I just was at a track day with everybody.
yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah. I mean,
yeah, man, drifting is like, I mean, this car like saved me last year. Like just the whole like mental struggles of everything I was going through for work. I was like, holy fuck, what am I gonna do? putz around in this car, go street it a little bit here and there.
Yeah, I was definitely having like an interesting day, and Shelmy just got a M4, and
Mm,
she's like, oh,
mm,
can you go move my car? And I was like, yeah, because like we live in a in-law unit where we don't get like mail sent to us. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go check the mail. I'm like, just
mm-hmm.
did like a little blast in that thing, and I'm like, it could be worse,
It's
you know.
it's a F80.
F82, yeah.
Yeah, so it's fucking really fast.
Dude, it's stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's like you can't even you can't even determine the speed of these cars by the
It,
horsepower numbers
it
anymore.
feels like a video game.
Yeah, it's not even the horsepower that makes those cars so fast. It's just like the way that the drivetrain and
Oh yeah,
is hers a manual or is it actually
it's the DCT.
DCT? It's like incredibly efficient, incredibly fast, and I hate to admit it every single time, but like it's so good.
It's so good. I was like, I don't know, maybe this is because you watch like Top Gear, and Jeremy Clarkson's like, oh, these flappy paddles and blah blah blah.
Yep.
Dude,
Yeah.
uh,
They're they're impressive. I remember uh this is when Ilya was still with IND
mm,
and the BMW company or whatever,
mhm,
and he had the blue F80 demo car out one day, and I had like my JZ car, like like 440 wheel. It's like a 500 horsepower crank S13 that weighs like nothing,
yeah,
and like we were just putzing around and like we did a stoplight pull like 1, 2, 3, and I was just like, okay, I've got 265 Azinis on this car. Like that thing just roasted me, like
yeah,
roasted me.
yeah.
Like the 1, 2, 3 shift in that car was just in the BMW was just like it didn't slow down. It literally like kept the same acceleration through each gear.
It makes me mad for
Yeah,
like it makes
hell
me
yeah.
mad for like three reasons. It's like, one, like now I'm getting talked down to like all the time,
For real.
like just like walking in fucking anyway. And then two, it's like I get in my drift car and I'm like, man, this thing's slow. What the
Slow as
fuck?
fuck. Yeah. Like, yeah, man, it's again, that's what I'm saying. Like, like up like 400 horse, like okay, let's say 500 horsepower in that like engine and drivetrain layout versus like 500 horsepower in like a conventional H pattern.
Yeah,
Whew, that's hard to beat
yeah,
unless you're like in a fucking Civic,
yeah. And you just
K24 Civic that can just like,
yeah,
but still, even that is like, it's still hard to beat the shifting and power points of like these new cars. They're incredible. I don't give a
yeah,
shit to drive them, but they're fucking incredible.
yeah. I mean, I just think about putting like that drivetrain in like an older car, and because it's like, as time goes on, they get cheaper, or like, are those going to be the
Dude,
new platform? Like, are
yeah,
we
man.
going?
Are you kidding me, dude? Like, imagine that, dude. Like, could you like an S65, like V8, like 4-liter V8 BMW setup
Yeah,
in a whatever? Even put that like in an E36, or
yeah. I mean,
I mean, you
money.
could put it as chassis, but like, it's more fitting
Yeah,
for a BMW. But like,
yeah, yeah,
imagine
yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm just
The
like,
and those transits are getting pretty popular in like in the custom kind of cars. Like I know there's a
yeah,
one of the fast S2000s in grid life, I believe, is a turbo K24 with the BMW shit.
yeah. Well, there's like a company that makes like it's like a standalone ECU, but for the transmission.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
so you can tune like shift times and like yeah, like do you want it to just be automatic? Like do you like, you can time the like downshifts, you can time like all this stuff. You can like change the engagement aggressiveness, like all with this box.
It's incredible,
It's
man. I
insane.
mean, yeah, it doesn't make the
Imagine going
sense
to
to our
imagine going to like a
cars.
transmission tuner.
I know,
Like
man.
you go to the dyno and the guy's like,
Yeah,
yeah, like no,
shit,
no,
man. They do like trans tunes on like diesel trucks and shit.
true. That's
You
true.
know,
That's
and like
true.
it makes them like so much more efficient and faster. Fuck, man. I got a lot of background noise. Sorry, airplanes and shit.
It's cool.
I've been doing my best to mute it when I get a lot of noise. My bad.
No, you've been perfect. I haven't heard anything.
Shit,
This
man.
this has been like you actually have like a good connection. You got a microphone. It's nice. I appreciate it. It's gonna like
Yeah.
save me a lot of editing.
Oh, I hope so. Shit. It seems to have been smooth so far. I'm surprised.
Yeah, man.
But we upgraded like our internet when we started like this. I started another job like last October or something. And since
Hmm.
me and my wife, our regular day jobs, we were working out of home. I was like, yo, our internet's fucking dead. We need to do something about this.
Do you have two jobs?
Yeah, I've got three jobs. I've got multiple. So like I have a regular like Monday through Friday, like, 8 to 5 gig. I have my own business where do I do like private duty nursing. I have my own patients that I see in
Mm-hmm.
some homes or sometimes in like like a retirement stuff. And I have another part-time job. And that's the one that like I get the heavy shit, the COVID patients, the fucking sick,
Mm,
let's just say sick people, that was the one that was really rough. But
man, three jobs and you still got time. Like, see, that's what it takes. Like, you want to, that's you want to drift and you want to be able to buy a house. Like, you gotta like find something.
yeah, it's money is, it's important to enjoy certain hobbies like cars because they're not cheap, but yeah, I do a couple things because I can make some money from it. I do some things because like I get to help people, which is the
Yeah,
most important factor. Like I get to sleep at night thinking like, yo, fuck, that person is gonna fucking make it, right? So it's
insane.
yeah,
My job does not have that kind of
last year was a
rewarding
very
aspect.
interesting time of my life for sure, dude. It was like really hard, man. It was a hard time for me, man. Like I don't I'm not trying to say like I'm Superman or like I'm like this like super strong-headed person that's never experienced like mental health, but like I think last year is the first time when I was like, oh shit. I was like, I think my head's like not in the best place right now.
Mm,
Yeah, that was yeah, like last year was interesting, man, just from the stresses of work to like everything that happened last year, man. I don't need to repeat it. Fuck.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
crazy
yeah,
time to be a colored person, let
yeah.
alone in the profession of healthcare and people telling you that shit's not true, yet I've dedicated my entire career and education to it. Like, yo, what? It's not real. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, 2020 is going to be
Mm.
a talked about year, I think many years into the future.
Yeah, yeah. I like don't even want to at this point anymore, but
Yeah,
that's history, man. It's gonna come up pretty often, I'm sure.
yeah. Let's just hope, things
Yeah,
progress
for
and
real,
stuff
man.
comes of it. And I feel
I'm
like
just hoping the science is working, man. That's all I can say about that. Hope the science is working.
same.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I think we're at like 3 hours, man. You wanna call it?
Holy fuck.
Yeah. I
Holy
know.
cow.
Yep. I know it's late for you, dude.
Yeah, it is late for me. That's crazy. My bad, dude. I didn't even think, man, we are just like chatting along. Shit.
Yeah. Welcome to my time vortex.
Yo, yo, man, you're good at that, dude. You're good at that. I appreciate the time, bro. That was crazy, man. I can't believe that time flew by, man. Who the hell's gonna listen to this, man? 3 hours long? What the fuck?
Oh yeah. Well, should we do so KSK like made up like a little saying, and then like people who listened to the whole thing like would hit him up and like send him the saying or like say the saying. So we gotta come up with some shit. What do you want it to be? You want it to be like a like underground hip hop lyric? What do you want?
Oh,
So,
dude, I'm the wrong person, man. Like I love hip hop, but like when people say lyrics, I'm just like, whoa, dude.
are you
Okay.
just like are you a beat dude? Like where you just like zone out on the music?
I'll admit to that. Yes, it doesn't
I
have to be hip hop. I can zone out on anything that I feel sounds good.
I'm too. I'm not like a lyric person. I don't know like, ooh, this person said this in this song. I have no fucking idea. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know.
I don't know either, brother. I don't either. I don't even know, man. Maybe it's too late for me to think of such a thing.
Just tell him IKEA formula. I just read the first thing I saw in your car. Have you made
IKEA
it this
formula.
far? Yeah.
IKEA formula. So you got to tell Casey. So if you watch this podcast full, you got to hit up Casey and say IKEA formula.
Or
Is that what
hit
you're
you
saying to
up.
me?
Hit you up.
Oh, hit me up.
Yeah.
IKEA formula.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's fitting.
Yeah, IKEA USA furniture.
Dude, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
This is
dude,
awesome.
thanks for having me on, man. I didn't know where this was gonna go, but that felt like pretty normal.
That's how they go.
To
I'm
be
not here
honest,
to.
that
I'm not
felt total normal. That was cool.
sick. Well, I can't wait to see you guys again. I want to come out to Chicago, and if not, we'll meet up in our typical location to Japan or something.
I know, right? It's crazy how we all just see each other like in just different parts of the world. Like it's like
Yeah.
a normal thing, and that's like I think that's the biggest blessing that we all have
Yeah.
that came from this hobby. Like it's just
Yeah.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
I don't even question that I'm not like I know I'm gonna see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the best
Yeah.
part, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Like, oh man, I don't know to see that guy again. Yeah. No,
No,
I'll
no,
see
you're
you
gonna see.
somewhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna see
Yeah.
you for sure, brother.
Cool, man. Well,
Hey, man, thanks again, homie. Appreciate it, dude. That was fun.
thank you.